So I'm going to talk about the Kiely Rodni case, okay? And I'm about to call out a few people here. What in the hell is wrong with every single person in this investigation? Okay? From start to finish, everybody involved, it seems to me that nobody gives a shit about this girl. Okay? So we're going to go over some things that I have written down that needs to be talked about because nobody is saying this. And it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Okay. So first, let's talk about Sammy, who I think is a sociopath. I'm going to tell you what. This girl has everybody snowed. Okay? The mom, the cops, everybody. This girl has got everybody thinking that she was so close to Kiely, that they were like best friends, that she is so worried about her. She doesn't show it at all. Every single interview she's done, she's contradicted herself. Her story has changed. The girl is a liar. Her parents are connected. Her dad's a lawyer. Her mom is a private investigator, or vice versa, for a big company. Okay? She has connected, rich parents. So you know she's the kind of girl that is used to getting whatever she wants. She thinks she's all that. She thinks that she has this in the bag because she thinks and she knows. I mean, she does. She's got everybody snowed. Even Kiely's mom. Now, wouldn't your first thing as a parent be like, okay, this Sammy is pretty much running the show over there, which should be everybody's first ding, ding, ding. This doesn't happen. What is going on here? So wouldn't your first thing as a mom be like, okay, so the mom did an interview. Oh, her friends have been so awesome. I mean, they've cooperated with the police. They've been so helpful. They've, done everything they can. That mom is snowed. But wouldn't you as a parent, right, be like, even if you didn't think they were involved in any way, wouldn't your first thing to her as Kiely's mom been, you're supposed to be her friend. You left her at a party that was so wild, so full of drugs, so out of control. And there was all weird dudes there, strangers. And you had a gut feeling in your gut. This is why you had to leave the party, right? But you left your best friend there, drunk, all by herself. That wouldn't happen, first of all. What kind of person would do that? You wouldn't leave your best friend drunk at a party by herself with all these random strangers and older guys. Not if you were her friend, right? They are not friends on Instagram or any other social media. How close could they be? They're not friends. Even on social media, your best friend is all over your social media. Okay. But she's up there giving these talks, and the cops, like, where did they get their certificate to be a cop? A Cracker Jack box? What kind of cops are going to let a teenage girl run the investigation? She's up there. She's got the mic. And everybody, she's going, oh, anybody with any tips or concerns or anything, or, call me. And the cops are basically having her investigate these, other people. Why is an 18-year-old girl running this investigation? And then you have to ask yourself, why has this girl inserted herself into this case so deeply? It's not because she cares. You can tell that if you've seen any interview she ever did. It's not because she cares. Maybe it's because she wants to stay close to the case. Maybe it's because she wants to control the narrative. She wants to control where the cops are looking. Which brings me to my next thing. Why are they still searching in the same place 14 days later? They've had cadaver dogs. They've searched all over the place. Cadaver dogs can pick up scents for up to 30 miles. It's crazy. Why are they still there? Right? Why are they still there looking in a place where she's not at? Because they're being told that that's the last place she was seen. Nobody knows that that's the last place she was seen. Every single thing from this case has came from the friends. From the very beginning, the friends are the only people that that say she was at a party, that say what she did when she was at the party, that can say that when they left the party, that can everything is coming from the friends. Why are the friends not being investigated? Why are the cops not looking at the friends? Because they'd be my first thing. I'd collect their phones. I would get everything they had. And that's not even happening. Is it because Sammy's parents are so connected and they want to sweep this under the rug? Well, they got to protect their daughter. But not only that, they have to save their own names from being drugged in the dirt. Like, their careers would be over if people found out that she killed Kiely, that Sammy killed Kiely, and her parents either knew about it, covered it up. They would be run out of the air. Like, they'd have to move. Their careers would be over. People all over would hate, it would be terrible for them. So they can't let that happen, right? And they're connected enough to where they've got the cops in their pockets. They've got lawyers and all these top people in their pockets, and they have all this money. You know what that buys you? Silence. I mean, it's crazy. The whole thing. And I'm sorry. I know people don't want to call out the parents because then you're a bad person. But why is her mom the way she is? Why is her mother there listening to people saying and eating food? And they say, oh, all this stuff is to like get for the rescuer or for the searchers to like come in and, get searchers down here. I'm sorry, but if my daughter was missing and has been missing, I would not be able to be there, just doing nothing, just hanging out. And this Sammy chick would sure as shit not be running the show. I can tell you that. And any other mother out there would tell you that. I mean, don't you guys think that's totally crazy? They are Sammy, Mags, Jagger. Well, he was out of town with his dad or whatever. But if he's gonna be on there saying, "Oh, I know she's safe. I know she's in a safe place. We're gonna bring Sammy home." Nobody would be saying that. How can you know she's safe when you don't know what happened to her? How can you know you're gonna bring her home safe when you don't know what happened to her? You weren't even in town that day. So, from the cops to from this police station, if you ever live in this area, man, I'm sorry, because you might have the worst police station ever. If they are letting this girl who's 18 years old and her friends run this investigation, think about it. Everything that came from the case, the only people that know about it are these kids. This is where all the information has come from. These kids. he don't want to call anybody out. He's like, oh, I believe this guy. This guy sounds credible to me. Let's not call him out. I'm trying to, gain trust. Listen, you're not out here to make friends. You're supposed to be finding Kiely. That's your job. You have to ask the tough questions. You have to be the one to, say it like it is. Are you out here to make friends, or are you out here to help find this girl? Because you can't be like that. You can't dismiss stuff that you don't think is important or you don't think matters. We're trying to figure out what happened to her, because there's not one person in her life that has come forward with anything. It's so crazy. It's either the biggest cover up, which is why nobody's talking, because there's money involved. There's, with her family being connected and being, top people and big names around that area, they wouldn't want any of this to come out, and they could pay enough money to where they made sure this didn't come out. Okay. So you've got that, which I'm sorry, but there has to be somebody out there and that's involved in the police station. There's got to be somebody out there, though, that's sitting there going, this is not right. This is bullshit. Like, we need to be looking at these kids. This is crazy. They know what happened. They know. They're the only ones that know. Okay? And then I'm going to tell you the theory on all this stuff that's going on with this Rodni character, right? This Rodni character, and then you got the Myro character. Okay? So, Myro's a drug dealer. If you watched any Upchurch's videos, so this guy's on the phone telling him, this is this Rodni guy, right? So Upchurch Google views it, sees a guy sitting next to a red, I don't know what it was, a red car. And this is back in 2016, right? The same guy he went to his Instagram. It's the same guy that was sitting there in the photo, okay? The guy that called Upchurch was like, Upchurch got his information. He tracked the phone back and seen that it was coming from this dude's address, right? So he's on the phone with this guy, and he's like, hey, bro, how come when I track this phone back, it pings to this address, the one you're saying this Rodni character lives at? And the guy's like, no, I'm in Roseville or whatever. He's like, no, you're not. I pinged the phone. You're literally right where you're saying this guy is. So let me put this theory out there. This guy on the phone, okay, and the guy, Rodni, right, could live together. They could both be drug dealers. Like, you don't know that, but nobody's saying that. I mean, it's so crazy. And let me tell you this, that I think this guy that called in and said, oh, I wasn't at the party, but my cousins were at the party, okay? This is the only other, besides those friends, this is the only other person that said they had information about the party, okay? So the friends say, yeah, she got pretty drunk, she was messed up, and we left, okay? Then you got this character who wants to call out and say, yeah, I wasn't at the party. My cousins were at the party, and they said Kiely was there, and yeah, she was pretty wasted, and, she was a little out of control. Basically just putting out there something that backed up the friend's story, right? The friends they were smart enough to know that they would need at least one other person to come forward and back up their story, right? Of how they left her there, she was drunk, whatever, which we've already covered, friends would not have done. Okay. So, they're known drug dealers. Upchurch proved that this Miro was a drug dealer or whatever, right? So, and they lived an hour and 32 minutes away from where the party took place, okay? They live an hour away from them. How far of a stretch of the imagination would it be to say this guy could have been Sammy's dealer? I mean, yeah, you drive an hour, go pick up your shit, drive home. That's not that big, like that's what people would do, right? So let's say, following my theory, let's say that that Sammy was like, okay, I need somebody to back up my story, so I'm gonna go to you. And she could have easily said to him, you either find a way to back up my story and get them leading in the same direction, or I'm gonna turn you in for being a drug dealer. That how far of a stretch of imagination could that be, knowing that Sammy's done the things she's done already, right? So what else? There's a lot of other things I got written down here. Let me just see. When Sammy was doing this, when she was talking, had the microphone at the site where the search place was taking place, it was like listening to somebody talk about like give a speech at a friend's birthday or some kind of gathering, right? It was not a speech that would come from a best friend who's in search of her missing best friend and doesn't know what happened to her. They were laughing, they were giggling, and it's the most ridiculous. Dude, does nobody see this? Point the finger at the people closest to the investigation. Who are those people? Mags and Sammy, but really Sammy. And she's one of those people, like I said, that thinks she can get away with anything, that's used to getting away with everything, that has money, don't have to worry about it. And Mag seems like a very more, how do I want to say this, quiet type of person, where she would easily be led by Sammy wherever Sammy wanted her to go. Okay, so let me just say that. What else? And if you notice, when Sammy gives her interviews, when she gave those interviews and she was sitting in the car and she was talking, and when she was telling them what had happened, she'd go like this a lot. She'd go like this a lot when she was talking, like she was trying to remember what she was supposed to memorize to say. If you notice that, and you can look it up, like they say that if you're looking in a certain direction, it means something about what you're doing, right? It's like a tell. She did that throughout the whole entire thing. Like she was like, all right, this is what I had to say, trying to remember and trying to say it at the same time. So look for that in case people didn't notice that, because apparently nobody involved really cares enough about Kiely to come to speak up and say, listen, this is what happened, or I know what happened, or where is she? Like at least let her, you can call in anonymously, at least let her know what the hell happened to her daughter. But like I said, I'm not so sure about her in any way. I'm not so sure about the mom. Because I can tell you that my ass would not be there at that search place. There's no way. Listen, we've been here. Nobody's found anything. Let's go. I'm trying to find my daughter. Like, I'd be out there on my own doing what I had to do, tracking down who I had to track down. And I'm going to tell you that Sammy would be first on my list. That girl knows what happened. That girl knows. And she's going to get away with it unless people start turning the finger on her. I mean, so what? Her parents are connected and have money. It doesn't matter. Like, Kiely is missing. Doesn't she at least deserve to, have people know what happened to her? At least find her? I mean, it's sickening to me. Seriously, it is. Okay, so when Sammy said she left the party early, she got a ride. So it's funny because she asked Kiely for a ride. Then she said, walked away and went and found another ride. Now, what? She goes, I'm going to go look for a ride. Now, why would you need to go look for a ride when she just told her she would give her a ride? Her story just doesn't make any sense. And Mags, she's like, oh, I rode to the party with Kiely. This is important. I rode to the party with Kiely. I didn't plan on staying there. So I was only there 10 minutes and I left with my boyfriend. Nobody's asking these questions. Why would you go to the party then if you didn't want to be there and you weren't going to be there and you were just going to leave? Why would you go? The only one reason. There's only one thing that makes any sense. They needed to put Kiely at that party, right? They needed to put her there. So Mag said, I got to ride with Kiely because nobody can prove anything else. It's duh. Where else would she have gone? She didn't go wanting to go. She's like, oh, I didn't want to go. You know, I wanted to leave. So why'd you go? Except to be able to put Kiely at the party. Okay. And Sammy. So she says she was the last person to see or talk to Kiely. Or no, she was the last person to talk to Kiely. But she left the party before Kiely did. So how would she know she was the last person to talk to Kiely? That's what I'm saying. Like, her story makes zero sense. No sense at all. Why is she not the prime suspect? Her story doesn't make any sense, and nobody's questioning that. Every single time she talks, she lies. Every single time she talks, she contradicts her story that she made previously. The girl is a liar. And I do believe she's a sociopath. But she's slipping up. And they always will. They always will slip up. Somebody will turn on somebody. Listen, that's just, it always happens. But it doesn't make any sense. If you left the party before Kiely, how do you know you're the last person to talk to her? That's just a dumb thing to even say. And why is nobody, where's Mag's boyfriend? The boyfriend that she left the party with 10 minutes after she got there. She left with him, right? Where is he? Why hasn't he come forward? Why isn't anybody talking to the boyfriend? Is anybody even investigating this case? Seriously. I'm not, it's not looking like it. Like, who's running this operation down there? All right, I'm looking to see what else I got on here. And we can't forget that Jagger used to date Sammy. Jagger and Sammy used to date. And then they broke up. And then he started dating Kiely. Let's not pretend that this kind of thing has not happened before. I think Sammy is a very jealous person because she does think she's all that. She's got money. She's used to getting away with everything. She's used to never being held accountable for anything. So when there's somebody else that's got something that she wants, or she is jealous of that person, she's the type that would go through no length. There's no length she wouldn't go through to take care of her jealousy problem. You don't need to be a shrink to see that. This is probably one of the dumbest things, the craziest but dumbest things, right? There's this big party. 300 plus people are there. Most of them teenagers. And you're going to tell me not one person took video? The only photos, what was there, 2 or 3 photos that came out? And it's a group of people. I'd say there's probably, I didn't count them. I'd say, I don't know, 40 people maybe standing like right in this area. There's no timestamp on it. There's no date on it. No one knows when that picture was taken or where that picture came from. Okay. But teenagers post everything. They post to social media freaking hundreds of times a day. Okay. They take picture and video of everything they do. But not one video has come out. Not one video. Oh, and by the way, if you know what it's like, say you have a, group, I'm sure everybody who hasn't had a group of people over at their house having drinks, whatever. it's always a wreck after, right? It's always a wreck because you don't clean up in the middle of it. And certainly not a bunch of drunk teenagers are going to think about cleaning up their mess. So 300 plus people. It's wild. It's out of control. There's drugs and drinking everywhere. Where's the mess? There's video and cameras all around there. There's no mess. A park ranger, get away from me, came out and said that there was, the park ranger there or whatever, came out and said there was no party. So, I don't know about that, but listen, this is my theory. This is what I think happened, and I want to know. And I think people need to be called out for not pushing hard enough, for not doing their jobs. And I think it's corruption, and I think it's bullshit, and I think Kiely is just going to be another victim of that, and that's bullshit. Look into Sammy and the friends. They know more than they're telling you. And I think they're directly involved, but that's just me. See, this whole story doesn't make sense. Oh, and another thing. The friends, Sammy, has created a GoFundMe for Kiely. Okay, hashtag find Kiely. She created a GoFundMe. Last time I checked, there was like $10,000 or something in the account. But what happens, say they find Kiely and she's dead, okay? The friends created the account. Who gets that money? Does it go to the friends? Because that's motive. That's just, them collecting off things they did. But that, unless there should be, I don't know how it works. So, but there should be that should go to Kiely's, funeral and all of that. That should be what that money has to go for. Oh, my turkey's over here chasing my chicken around. Sorry. Okay, now, a lot of people are saying it could have been an accidental OD. She could have accidentally OD'd, right? If your friend, I don't give a shit. If your best friend, if you and your best friend were at a party, okay, and your friend OD'd, yeah, you done drugs, that's, aren't you still gonna pick up the phone and call 911? Yeah, you would. For somebody you cared about, you would still call 911. Who cares if you get in trouble? Your friend's gonna die, So I don't buy that. I don't buy that one bit. I don't think that's at all what happened. But it's just crazy. And it's Sammy referred to the party as Lord of the Flies. This is important because, have you ever read the book Lord of the Flies? The book is about a group of young boys who find themselves alone on a deserted island with no adults. The boys eventually become violent and brutal, right? Descent into chaos. Human nature is fundamentally savage. Isn't that weird that she used that reference? Because in fact, could it be because in fact, her and her friends did the same thing to Kiely? Turned on her? They weren't her friends. I gotta stop saying that, but that's what everybody keeps saying. They were not friends. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go back to Sammy. Sammy went in her first interview said there was no one there that was suspicious. No one followed them around. They didn't get any unwanted attention. Everything was fine. In her next statement, okay, there was a lot of guys who did approach us. I got the gut feeling that something wasn't right. These were older guys. Lie. Which is it? She's a liar. And I don't understand how she's made all. Okay. Now, everybody and their mother is making money off of this case with all these videos, right? So this Ikmal, I don't know you. You don't know me. But you're here to find Kiely, right? You're here not just to make money, but to find Kiely. This goes for all of you other true crimers out there who don't want to call people out, who want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Listen, at this point, everybody's suspect. That's how it should be. But definitely at the top of my list would be her friends. Suspect 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's go down the list. Because it feels like nobody is even like the it's just the most craziest case I've ever freaking, you know? It's crazy. You're not here to make friends, true crime people. You are here to call people out, to get facts, to help find Kiely, to help get information. Like, just do that then. Don't worry about hurting people's feelings. Don't worry about being, PC. Upchurch, I think, is the only one who's out there. He's like, I don't give a shit what, people can get mad at me. People can say what they want. I'm here to find Kiely, not to make y'all happy, right? And another thing, if you have 300 plus people at a party, not all those people are going to be friends, right? Not all those people are going to get along. So you would have at least somebody that's came out with information or video or anything else from that party that supposedly happened. The only people that put Kiely there was her friends. They're the only people that claim a party ever even happened. And people are not like, ding, ding, ding. It's so crazy to me. Everybody from the sheriff's office, the police who are investigating it, to her mom, to her friends, to everybody needs to be called out because nobody's doing what's best for Kiely. Nobody's doing the right thing. Open up your freaking eyes. Screw it. So what? You how, how can money be more important than a life? If that's what this is all about. Switching schools, and nobody's talking about that. Why did she have to leave school? Vehicle was spotted. I saw this, and nobody else has said anything about it. I saw it one person's video, or no, it wasn't even. It was on Twitter, I think. But I think it was community. With Jagger in the car, and nobody knows. It was a blonde girl driving. That could have been Sammy. That could have been Mags. That could have been Kiely. But her vehicle was never seen again. Nobody can find it. Well, think about it. If it is in a gated community, and you got to think, totally could be with her parents, and her money, right? But if it is in a gated community, you would need a warrant to go in, and you would need a warrant to go into somebody's garage, right? They don't have enough evidence to do that. And do you know why they don't have enough evidence? Because nobody's fucking looking at Sammy. Nobody's looking at the friends. This is so ridiculous. You could send regular people in there to start investigating this case, and they would do more than is being done. Hey everybody, and welcome to today's video. So I'm really sorry that I could not do a live. They said some very interesting things in there, but we're going to go back to the beginning, okay? Not the beginning, but let's go back and talk about how in the very beginning, we all assumed that her friends were involved. Sammy was suspicious, Mags was suspicious, and I was suspicious of Jagger in the beginning. Now, her friends, I mean, we have not heard from Sammy anything since AWP showed up and found Kiely's car. Okay? We have not heard from Mags at all since since she was at the search party thing for Kiely, right? Since the news interviewed her. Kate, literally we heard from her once in on the news, and then another time when she put out those text messages saying Sammy and Kiely were not friends. Excuse me. Those are the only things we've heard from those guys. Where did everybody go? Why did everybody just stop talking? You know why? Because everybody is guilty. They all know what happened. They all know how it happened, and they're all responsible. And we all know this already, right? All right, now, Jagger. There's some things about this character, right? Now, when we all heard, did everybody hear the tow truck driver talking to AWP? Did everybody see that? Okay, well, I'm sure, and I'm not the only one, I'm sure that everybody's head automatically went, bam, Jagger, right? When he was talking about the girl and the guy in the car. He had a SF hat on. We know Jagger has that SF hat. Um, we know that Jagger has long hair that sticks out of the side of his hat. So those are reasonable inquiries into this, I would say, in my opinion. Okay. Um Now, the tow truck driver said that he could 100%, he was confident who the guy was. He was not confident on who the girl was. Just a blonde. I mean, this was Saturday morning at 11 in the morning that they were seen. So it was the day after the supposed party took place, which I've said numerous times. In my opinion, do not believe there ever was a party. I believe that Kiely was set up by the people that wanted to claim to be her friends. And I believe they did something to her, hurt her, took her, and who knows what. But I believe 100% in my heart that they are guilty and they are behind this and they know everything. Now, we'll know a lot more when the video comes out from the from the towing company, because he had it all on camera. And he said it was really weird too, because the girl kept asking weird questions like, how do you buckle the seatbelt to make sure it's securely buckled? And you just weird questions like that, he said. Like, how bizarre is that? Would you not think something was up if you're that guy and somebody was like, how do you securely buckle a seatbelt? What kind of question is that? That's a weird question. And he said that whoever the guy and the girl were that were in the car, every time one was talking to him, the other one was over on the other side of the vehicle. It was almost like they didn't want to be near each other, almost like they didn't want to be seen together. You know what I mean? Like they are together at the car, but it's weird how they would, every time one would walk around, the other would walk around the other way. That is super, super, you know, wild to me. Like, that is something you would notice that would stand out. Like, you'd be like, what is with these people? Right? So that's super weird. And by the way, let's not forget that Jagger made sure to mention that, I don't know. I'll let you know. Sorry. Let's not forget that Jagger had to mention before that Kiely had perfume in her car. Oh, she has perfume in her car. Like, why would he just mention that randomly out of nowhere? Isn't that weird? Like, that's a weird thing to say. You know, somebody's missing. You're looking for her in her vehicle. Oh, she had perfume in her car. Like, that's totally dumb. unless there's a reason behind it, right? Now, the only reason that Jagger, people didn't want to suspect Jagger was because he claimed that he was in Napa with his father and his father backed up his story. Not for nothing, but a father would lie to protect his son, in my opinion. Okay. And it's not that far of a drive from there to Napa. So I mean, he could have went there and easily drove back and had something to do with this. Come on. Allegedly. And let's think about this too. Remember when Sammy made it a point to go, oh, and by the way, sunroof. Kiely's car has a sunroof. Kiely's car did not have a sunroof. Do you know whose car does have a sunroof? Jagger's. I'm just saying. Okay. Now, the reason that AWP went to Boca and searched Boca before was because that was the last known location of the car, which is where the tow truck driver went. That's how AWP knew to go there first. Right? So, I mean, hey, everybody's got a theory, and right now it's all speculation. But Jared from AWP said, generally, he goes, generally, like when you're getting groceries or something, you say they're in the back, right? Or you say they're in the back seat. Like if they're in the back seat, you say they're in the back seat. If they're in the back, you say they're in the back. Because that like the back. Now that's what he said. He said, when I say the back, I mean the back. Right? So we know she wasn't in the back seat of the car. We know that she was in the back of the car, which I figured already. That I figured that. Now let's talk about this mother and this message she put out there about AWP and how they're not her heroes and she was not notified by them and they're not going to get, basically she said, I will not put pen to paper, like basically they're not going to get any of the money or whatever. And I don't understand why she's acting like this, because they found her daughter. Had it not been for them, Kiely would have never been found. So I don't get and I don't understand why she is acting this way. It makes zero sense to me. A lot of people are saying that's not a real account, but that video I made the other day, I got all those pictures from the Lost Trail Lodge's Facebook page. And if you go all the way down, literally there's not one message on there until, back from like 2012 or some craziness like that. I want to say it is. But that was the same exact profile that put out the statement that was saying, AWP is nobody's heroes and she's sick of hearing people say that. But literally, lady, they found your kid. They found your daughter when the Placer County sheriffs were just going to leave that area and say, forget it. Your daughter would have never been found. So I don't know what her problem is. So we need to, that's not normal. What else can I mention here? Oh, and also in a clip that came out of the AWP video, you'll notice that he says, this doesn't make any sense. It's only 10 feet down. Because, listen, we all said the same thing. This doesn't make any sense. How did they not find the car there? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, basically, we got confirmation that he also thinks didn't make any sense to him. Okay. Now he said about the car being in gear, what he said was, We did not look. We did not physically look to see what gear the car was in, but we know it was in neutral. Like I said, and a lot of people were like, yeah, I agree. Some people were like, oh, that's dumb. That doesn't, that's stupid. Can't say that. But it's not, I don't know. You just got to think about how, you got to think about the story that this is going along with. And it's so insane that I don't know how anybody could rule anything out. It's just ridiculous. And everybody that wanted to, you know, come and say something to me about, you shouldn't be making these videos. The family needs the right to grieve. Like, this was a horrible accident. And like I've been saying from day one, in my opinion, this was not an accident. This was a planned, premeditated, set up thing that happened to this girl. And I don't care, who agrees with me and who doesn't. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and all opinions are welcome. But I'm just telling you mine. Now, when the tow truck driver got there, he said the girl in the car said her phone was dead, and she used the guy's phone to call roadside assistance. So, if it is who we think it is, that call will be in his phone even after he deleted it. They can get that. So, hopefully, they're looking into this guy and these people, Sammy, Mags, not to call any names, but hopefully these people are being looked into, Jagger, and they will be investigated. And the people held responsible or the people found to be responsible will be held responsible. Like, that's what we're hoping for. So Kate's response to the AWP video that came out, she said, and I quote, all a load of BS, unquote. Now, Jagger's response, Jagger was asked, what did you think about the AWP video? His exact words were, this is all BS. He said bullshit, but they both had the same exact answer to the question. That's kind of sketchy, right? If you were really friends and you found this out and you were not involved, that would not be your response. You would not just be like, that's bullshit. You'd be like, oh my God, now we're getting somewhere. Like, let's find out what happened to Kiely. But no, you know who does do that? People who are guilty or people that know, right? I'm not saying, but I'm saying this is just my opinion. Now, the mom also said something else strange in her thing. She said, this was meant to be our story, not theirs. Aren't those weird choice? Isn't that a weird choice of words to use? This was meant to be our story, not theirs. Now, if you were saying, okay, say this happened to you and some newscaster or something was trying to take over and tell your story. Now you would be like, this is supposed to be our story, not theirs to tell. But that's not what she said. She said this was meant to be. What do you guys think of that? Because that strikes me as a little odd. Not this was supposed to be, but this was meant to be our story. What do you guys take on that? I find that super sketchy and super strange. I'm sorry, I just do. Now, the facts are that Kylie was last seen at 6:08 p.m. on the night of the 5th. 6:08 p.m. That is the last official sighting of Kylie that we have. We have no idea from then until her body was found in the car, what happened to her, how long she had been gone for. We don't know any of that. But so everything you hear else besides what's coming from, AWP, and hopefully if they're on the up and up, the medical examiner, but I'm not holding my breath on that. So we don't know what happened to her, how long she was held for, if she was held, if it was just, we don't know any of that. And that's, I think, such a hard thing in this case. All right. The tow truck driver also said that the girl looked very distressed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It was definitely, in my opinion, one of those three friends in that story. Friends in quotation marks. Hell, let's just call it like it is. It was one of those three liars was the girl in that car. And you all know who I think the guy in the car was. I don't know what you think, but I cannot wait to see the full video. Like I said, I mean, this is just ridiculous. And a lot of people, I mean, Upchurch, I don't know what that guy was like, oh, this is fake. She's not real. This didn't happen. And now he's all back on the people's panels. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like I said in my last video, just because you couldn't find the answers doesn't mean it didn't happen. And now that AWP is coming out with this, yeah, I mean, he has nothing to say for himself. And everybody who just blindly followed him and agreed with him, it's totally crazy. And I think this validates us a little bit with the people, I mean, who were, people were like, oh, why would you just assume it was such a bad thing? Like, dude, she got into a car, she drove into a lake, end of story. Like, no. And I knew in my gut that was not the case. So here we are. Now we know that is not the case. I mean, these divers that went down there and saw what they saw are highly affected from this. They were, and I don't, for the life of me, understand anybody else's behavior in this case. Like, everybody is just lying and hiding things and just, it's sad. It's sad. And the mom was like, oh, they didn't tell me, I was out eating sushi when I found out at a restaurant. What the hell were you doing out eating sushi when your daughter's missing? Why are you out at a restaurant eating dinner? Like, did anybody care about this girl? Seriously? My whole point in doing all of these videos that I have done about Kiely has been just to help bring justice to Kiely, just to help stand up for Kiely, because she is no longer able to stand up for herself. And I know in my gut that it is not an accident, that there is foul play, and that certain people are involved, in my opinion, allegedly. So listen, I want to get this out. It's going to take forever to upload this because my internet is so crappy right now. It's like I can't even barely watch anything. So please, guys, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. Please subscribe. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And please hit that bell so you can get notified of any future videos that we put out. What else? Oh, please listen. I've been working on this, spending so much time on this case, and I don't get any money from YouTube. I'm not big enough. Hey everybody, so I'm going to make this short and sweet. Jagger wants to put out these social media posts like, I'm leaving social media until people can stop being dumbasses or shitheads or whatever he said. He goes, she got drunk, drove, that shit happens. Okay. Doesn't make any sense. But okay, we'll go with that. We already know that AWP found her. They found it suspicious. Hey, everybody. Okay, so Check It TV put out a video a couple hours ago. I think I said 2 hours ago. He went to the site where Kiely's car was pulled out of the lake. There is literally a bunch of stuff, evidence that we think came out of her car. It's right there, right where the car was, laying all on the bottom of the lake. And he went out there with a paddle boat and his phone. And he stuck the phone in the water. You can kind of see, but it's really hard to make out what it is. But there is a bunch of stuff there. He called the Placer County Sheriffs. He called Nevada County. He has called a bunch of people. And he was there for like, I don't know. He was still there when he ended the video. And he said he'd been there for over an hour. He also found a bunch of broken glass there that possibly could be from the window. He's not 100% sure. But he called all the police departments and nobody's coming. Nobody is coming to collect it. There could be a bunch of stuff down there that means something to this case and nobody is coming to collect it. Not one police department. Now you guys tell me why that is. Tell me that that's not a total, and tell me that that does not fall right in with the whole cover up thing. Why would they not want to? Like he said, it's like nobody even gives a shit about this girl or this evidence or anything. Like, it's totally insane. So he's urging everybody to call all these police departments, Nevada County, Placer County, call all these places, demand that they go and pick up this evidence. I don't know if they will, but there's probably stuff there that they didn't want to take. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't want brought out into the light. So there's a bunch of stuff that's going on. I want to make this super quick so I can get it out. Hopefully tomorrow, my internet, I have somebody coming to look at it. So hopefully tomorrow it'll be fixed, because this is just ridiculous and I'll be able to do another live. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But there is a bunch more stuff that I want to talk about that has to do with Jagger. And I just don't have time to get into this because I want to get this out. So listen, go check that video out. Check It TV. I don't know if you know who that is, but it's Check It TV on YouTube. Go watch that last video and tell me what you think, because I think that it screams cover up all the way. Like, it just fits right into that. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Why else wouldn't you collect all the evidence there? Why else wouldn't you collect every freaking thing in that area where the car was? It's the most ridiculous thing. And people wonder why this case has gone the way that it is. So hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I will be back tomorrow with another video. And I also have to post another video on my other channel tomorrow. So stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe, and make them phone calls. I mean, hey, if they don't come and they don't collect it, we know why. If they do come and they do collect it, it'll only be because so many people called in and demanded that they go and get it. But whether we ever hear anything from it or whatever comes to it, well, we may never know. Especially if it's true that the sheriff's son was there. The dirty sheriff, who we already know is dirty because of the last, what happened. Check that video out. Placer County cover up if you haven't done so already. Again, like, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey, everybody. So I got called into work today, so I got to go into work, and then when I come home, I got to school. Because I homeschool. My freaking rooster, sorry. So I got to homeschool, and then tonight I'll do a live. But I did want to make this quick video because a lot of people are talking about how Doug was on, Doug from AWP was on, Rocky, zip it. How Doug was on Zav Girl's channel, and they asked him, like, was that Kiely in the car that night from the tow truck driver? And he said that they have verified what the tow truck driver said. That's all he said. It has been verified. What he said has been verified. Now, the tow truck driver, you guys have to remember that the tow truck driver said that he could not verify if it was Kiely. Okay? And then Doug also said after that, oh my gosh, this rooster's driving me crazy. Doug also said after that, now we how did he put it? Like, don't get confused, because there are other blondes in this story. Now, I don't think he would have put that in there and said that had he been 100% sure that it was Kiely in the car. You know what I'm saying? Had he been 100% sure that it was Kiely that the tow truck driver met with, he would not have said, well, there are other blondes, you know. So, he didn't say there are other blondes in this story. He said there are other blondes in California. But to me, you know, that's not 100% proof that Kiely was the girl that the tow truck driver met with. So I just wanted to say that, because a lot of people are like, nope, it's been verified. It was Kiely he was talking to. No, it was not verified. And anybody that really listened to what Doug said could say that it was not 100% verified that it was Kiely that the tow truck driver was talking to. Like I said, if it was Kiely and Doug knew for 100% fact that it was Kiely, he wouldn't have said there are other blondes, you know. So I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, in my opinion, I don't believe that the tow truck driver was talking to Kiely. I don't believe that. And the tow truck driver couldn't even verify. He said he could verify who the guy was, but he could not verify who the girl was. It was just a blonde-haired girl, okay? So, and again, when Doug was on Zavgirl's channel, he did not verify and say 100% it was Kiely that the tow truck driver talked to. So I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, I mean, you can't, I mean, people can think what they want. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But I just don't want, you know, I mean, what I took from that was that he did not say it was Kiely. So that's all I wanted to say. He did not say that was Kiely that he was talking to. I've seen a couple of people put out things on their channels saying that, yep, it's been verified that it was Kiely. No, that's not true. It has not been verified that it was Kiely. So I just wanted to say that. This damn rooster. He does this all the time. It's crazy. Thank God when you're in the house you can't hear it, because it would drive me nuts. So yeah. I just wanted to put that out there. And I want to thank everybody for all the support in the channel. I really want to thank all the subscribers, and I want to thank the people that, you know, helped to support us and in doing this. So I want to say that, and all I want to do is get justice for this girl. I mean, really, that's all I want to do. I just feel so bad for her and this whole situation. She did not deserve this. She did not deserve to leave the world this way. And, you know, I just want to see that the people that are responsible are held responsible to the fullest extent of the law. You know, because that's really what she deserves. And I think are found guilty. You know, that's all. So again, and I want to thank the person. I don't know if you want to be named or not, but I want to thank the person that put me into contact with the Teehee That Tickles. I will be talking to that person some more. And hopefully, I'll have a lot more information for you guys. So I just want to make this quick video. Again, it has not been verified that that was Kiely that the tow truck driver talked to. Not at all. If you really listen to what Doug said on Zav Girl's channel yesterday, he did not verify that it was Kiely. So I just wanted to get that out there. All right, everybody. So I watched Sluggish Sleuth did a live of Kiely's memorial yesterday. And there's just a few things that I want to say. Nothing about this seemed right to me. So I have to get ready to go to work, but I had to put this out. So I'm going to try to go over it real quick. All right. They thank the police department. They thank CHP for investigating. Much gratitude. The family friend who, Cassie Habel is her name, who started this memorial and talked for a while. I'm going to quote a few other things that she said. Thank you to all our truckie community who did the search for Kiely and to find Kiely. We felt that we could come to the table in a way that we could come to the table, whatever that means. Within 48 hours, we had a family base camp. Linda DeCuddy, Navigated Media, Salt Lake City. Thanked Truckee PD 3 times. They thanked CHP. They even thanked those that brought coffee, but no thanks to AWP for finding Kiely. Literally, they thanked every restaurant that fed all of them. Well, Kiely was missing, but no, not one mention of the people that found her. Listen, when you're at a memorial, this lady spent I'm going to say probably the first 20 minutes or so, it may be longer. It felt like forever. Spent all this time thanking people for the tables that they brought, thanking people, for bringing the coffee, thanking the restaurants for feeding them, thanking people for bringing, every little thing. Listen, you're at a memorial for a young lady that died. You want to thank people, send them thank you cards. After. Like send them a thank you card. A memorial is supposed to be a place where you talk about the ones that you lost. You share stories and memories. That is not at all what this memorial was like. All the names that they mentioned. Kim Bradley, Nevada County Behavioral Health, to help with the teens. And then she says, let's give a round of applause for the teens. Our teens are amazing. Supporting one another, helping law enforcement, reaching out for statements. And these were her words. You're strong. You're our future. You are our future. And you're amazing. We got your back. Let's see. One of the nights when we were, I'm quoting the lady who was talking. One of the nights when we were hanging out at base camp, people played some guitars, especially for Mama. And I was like, okay, this is cool. We were listening to music. It was beautiful. And then it changed when Kiely was found. Then it became about how are we going to do this and celebrate our truckie community? What? Once they found, so they were having a good old time singing and playing guitar and hanging out, listening to music. She says, and then it all changed. Once Kiely was found, then it became about how are we going to do this and celebrate our truckie community? Words that bring me here today are love, space, our journey of collectiveness and experiences that we all have shared, the support we give one another. She says there's an altar, a gift table up here. There are also Palo Santo sticks. It gets rid of evil spirits. Come down and do a cleansing because that's very important. She said they are so filled with gratitude to be a part of this community. And then a few girls go up and sing. Another friend went up and sang. Or no, a friend of a friend. I'm sorry. Not even somebody that was a friend. A friend of a friend. Huh. All right. Then somebody reads a poem. Another girl sings. Another person sings. Okay, now she gets to the teens. She says, teens, amazing young adults. They're resilient. They're powerful. Together, supporting collective love. It is very important that we stand behind each other. And that's what they are doing. And then Mags went up and talked, and you could not hear a freaking word that she was saying. And then some guy and then some girl came up and talked, and then Sammy spoke. I could hear her voice. She way oversold it. She acted like she, gave a shit. The fifth girl who spoke truly got up there, started bawling, crying. I don't know who that was because it did not say her name. Let's see. All right. And then this lady wanted to thank Anna, Marika, Abby, Lindsay, Alana, these women that huddled together through this experience, keep us from going in rabbit holes. And then 2 more people came up and sang. It's freaking starting to rain here. It is cold out here today. All right. Lindsay got up and spoke. I felt zero emotion when she was talking. Zero. She was talking about life's perfect balance. How this somehow this happening to Kiely somehow balanced things out. And she says, we are so grateful to have the opportunity to join together today with friends, family, and community. And then listen to this. This lady did about a 3-minute, she made a 3-minute speech before the memorial. She says, we will grieve in our own way. We will laugh, we will dance, or maybe we'll cry in a corner. And then she laughs. It's all okay. The teens, their strength, their togetherness. She said, you guys have an army behind you. We are behind you. The internet is making our teens suffer. And then she says, kindness. There is kindness in minding your own business. Let our children mourn their friend quietly and peacefully. Please know, we got this. Let her rest. What? First of all, not one mention about AWP who found her daughter. No thanks to them whatsoever. She did not thank them. But you can thank the people that brought you coffee and the restaurants that fed y'all while you were searching for Kiely. And the spokeslady, the family friend, made it sound like it was a big party there. Hanging out, listening to music, chilling. And then when they found Kiely, it all changed. And then, it was ridiculous. And then it was about how can we celebrate our community? No. This memorial, and I do believe that her parents are spiritual people. Like, you can tell that the family friend or whoever wrote that speech for her was, it was a spiritual speech, I feel like. Man, they almost made it sound like this had to happen. This had to happen to Kiely to keep the balance, to maintain the balance. And as many times as they thanked the community and they thanked the Truckee Police Department and the Nevada County Sheriffs, the Placer County Sheriffs, I just never seen a more screwed up memorial for a young lady in my entire life. I don't know what you guys thought. Leave your comments down below. Like I said, I gotta hurry up and I gotta get this done, get to work. But I just wanted to put that out there. And what was up? And anybody tell me if you saw it. They had 2 banners on each side of this setup they had there. I did a close-up, but what in the heck was hanging on those banners? Because it was almost like a crest of some kind, like for their certain group, I don't know. It was almost like they were saying this had to happen. That's what I got from it. It was, that mother was not tore up. She was not crying. There was one girl who cried, and that was the 5th teen who went up and spoke. And it didn't even say her name. So I was kind of hoping that, you know, the teens like would be arrested after that, but I don't know. I gotta get inside. It's raining here, but let me know what you guys think. Okay, so I made a video earlier. Thank you everybody who liked and shared it and subscribed to the channel about the memorial service, or that at least that's what they called it. I mean, there was so many things wrong that I couldn't find anything that was right. That's how bad it was. The lady who was first talking, her name is Cassie Habel. She did not mention Kiely, only to say that they were searching for Kiely and when Kiely was found. She never shared one story about Kiely, not one memory, not one anything. Never talked about Kiely. She talked about how she wanted to thank everybody. Thank all the restaurants that fed them. Thank all the people who donated tables for them to use. Thank the people who brought them the coffee. Thanked the people, thanked CHP for the investigation. Thanked all local law enforcement. You know, I think she thanks law enforcement like 3 times in the video, which was crazy. Not in the service, I mean, the memorial, whatever you want to call it. She thanked, basically, she named off a ton of people that she wanted to thank. She wanted to thank, my gosh, Kim Bradley, who is a behavioral person. She works for Nevada County Behavioral of Health. She was there. Now, there's some interesting things about that. So I went to Nevada County Behavioral Health, and they specialize in treating kids with disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar, multi something. Kids with really bad disorders. It's a rehab. So that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And so, you're like, well, why would they have to have somebody like that there? Because she said that she was helping with the teens. We have Kim Bradley here from the Nevada County Behavioral Health to help with the teens. From a rehab center that specializes in treating kids with severe disorders. I find that odd that she would have helped out in this, unless they knew that, like, that, what these kids, that this could have happened. Like, they were, what's wrong with these kids that they have to have that lady there? That's all I'm saying. Okay. So she went on and on and on about thanking all these people in the community. She kept saying, she probably said the word, the community, like 40 times probably, I would say, in her speech. Just how she was so grateful to be a part of the community, and the community helped so much in searching and finding Kiely. The community went through this shared experience together. This was a journey we got to go through together. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And then she went on to talk about the teens. Oh, let's have it for our teens. Let's give them a round of applause, she says. These teens are so awesome. From, helping look for Kiely, to reaching out for statements, to helping law enforcement. These teens are just amazing in helping each other and supporting each other and having each other's backs. I mean, just went on and on and on about the teens. And it's like, this is a memorial for Kiely. Are you freaking kidding me? This was like no memorial I'd ever see. I don't even want to call it that anymore. Like, that's not what this was. She talked about more teens and gave more teens love in this than Kiely. It was the most sickening memorial for a young lady who tragically lost her life that I've ever seen. I mean, Kiely deserved so much better than that. It's ridiculous. I mean, there was just so many things to the altar they had set up, which was bizarre. And those banners, I don't know, those banners. A lot of people were saying that was Kiely in the silhouette of her in the dress in that picture. I don't think that's what, I mean, it does look like that. You can see that. You could see how that could be. But to me, it looks like something nefarious, kind of. And that I don't know. I got a bad feeling. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I just get such bad vibes from this whole group and all these people that, you know, that I was just getting the vibes from that, and maybe not that, but I don't know. Oh, it was just terrible. And they had, like, I don't even know how many people got up and sang. They had all these people come and sing, like these different kids, and then a few other people. I want to, don't quote me, but I want to say it was like 8 or 9 people sang there. It was more like a concert vibe that I got. You know, people with blankets, people, you know, drinking on the grass with blankets and hanging out, and like, it was not like, I don't know, it was weird to me, I guess. Maybe that's just me. She kept saying like this was an experience that they all got to go through together, and the words beautiful and joy and come to mind, and love, and I'm thinking, what in the heck is going on here? Like, this girl was tragically killed, and we're talking about how beautiful the journey was that they got to share with the community. And I can't even. I really can't. Like, I was so mad when I was watching this that it was just making me so sick to my stomach and so angry. Oh, it's not good. You know, not good at all. Just got really, really bad vibes. What else? Then, yeah, so Mags came up. I couldn't hear a word she said. I could tell when Sammy was talking. I heard her, and she was just giving Kiely. You know, she had to make it sound so good. She was like, "Oh, Kylie's this amazing person," and, you know, just way overselling it for who she is. We all know who Sammy is. And it's just disgusting to see her stand up there and talk about Kiely and pretend that she cares. Pretend that I'm sorry, it's just sickening to me. I can't even. The worst thing, you know, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's just freaking crazy to me. So yeah, they had this altar set up. I'm sure you've all seen it by now, but they had check it out. So there's 2 banners, right, on each side. And then they have like this, they have a gift table. and I have like this cleansing area, which is bizarre. And like this other table over here. And the lady was like, Palo Santo. We have Palo Santo. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Sticks down here. You know, you use them to rid yourself of evil entities, and um everyone make sure you come down and do a cleansing. It's very important. And I'm like, what? Again, like, what is wrong with these people? It's so crazy. It is bizarre. And then, I know I keep using that word. It's nuts. And then the mom gets up there. Zero emotion again. I feel zero emotion when that lady speaks. I am sorry, but that's just the way that it is. I don't see the connection that she felt with Kiely. I just don't see it. You know, she can say everybody grieves in their own ways, but what she was doing, and I've said it all along, is not right. And it's not right at all. And then when she made that speech, that statement, okay, so when she made that statement, if you watch the clip, it's like, what, a minute and 45 seconds or something. When you watch that, she's obviously reading what she wrote down, right? Or whoever, somebody wrote it. That's what she was supposed to say. Now, if you're Lindsay, the camera is on your left, right? The news people, they're standing on her left, okay? To the front of her, to the left. But you'll notice that when she's reading that, she'll read a little bit of it and she'll look up, but to the right. So she's looking at somebody. And it's almost like she'll read some and she'll look up to make sure that what she's, saying is what what she needs to be saying. And she does that throughout the whole thing, except for when she is like, the people on the internet are really making our teens suffer. She said, sometimes kindness is in minding your own business. And when she said that, she looked right at the camera. And it's like, excuse me, lady. You're worried about the teens suffering because people on the internet are calling them out for their shady stuff, for their shady ass attitude. But who was looking out for Kiely's suffering? Who had Kiely's back? Who was looking out for Kiely? Nobody. But you're going to stand here and defend those teens that had involvement with whatever happened to Kiely. These are the people you're going to stand there and publicly defend at your daughter's memorial? Nope. I don't know. I'm sorry. That is just unacceptable. Okay. Yeah, just unacceptable behavior. There is no excuse for that, in my opinion. And also, if it were not for YouTubers and people on the internet, your daughter would never have been found. But she didn't want her daughter found, right? I mean, that's the consensus. She didn't want her daughter found because once she was found, her mom was pissed. And her mom made that statement against AWP, and AWP did not get one thank you. Remember, in the beginning, when I was telling you about this lady, Cassie, thanking everybody for coffee, for this, for that, she never once mentioned AWP. She never once mentioned that had it not been for Adventures with Purpose, Kiely would not have been found. I mean, is it about money? Because once Kiely was found, the money stopped coming in. The money stopped being donated. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason or if, you know, I don't know. But the Cassie lady also said that this happening balanced things out, balanced the energy out. It's like, what? So, what does that make you think? Like, she made it sound like this had to happen for there to be that to be balanced. Like, there to be balance in the world. This had to happen to her. That's how she makes it sound when she says it. That's what I took from it. You know, was she, I hate to say the word, but was she sacrificed? I mean, the way these people are acting, it's bizarre. I just never seen such a thing. And then I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over it, but I just say it when it pops into my head. And then when Lindsay got up and spoke not during the statement, but at the memorial, she was like, Kiely was my daughter, her body, but not her soul. She was more the community's daughter, which it's like, this is just not behavior from a mother that loses a child. I am sorry. This is not right. This behavior is wrong. And it just screams something is wrong. I mean, this is nuts. It's so crazy. I just can't even, I really can't. And then, what was also bizarre is the lady, so this Cassie lady who was talking, she says this. She goes, I remember being up at the campsite, or a base camp, she called it. People were playing their guitars. There was music and laughter and dancing. And I thought, well, this is cool. This is so beautiful. She says, and then Kiely was found. And then it switched to, or no, did she say, wait, she goes, so then after Kiely was found, everything changed. She goes, it became about how do we do this and celebrate our Truckee community? What? Okay, let's go over that again. The lady said that there was laughter and people playing their guitars and singing and dancing at base camp, which is where they were all waiting, while this search was going on. And she goes, we were singing, dancing, listening to music, and I thought, well, this is cool, she says. And she goes, I thought it was so beautiful. She said, and then when Kiely was found, everything changed. And these are her exact words. When Kiely was found, everything changed. Then it became about how do we do this and celebrate our Truckee community? Does anybody not find anything hugely wrong with that statement? After, it should have been, then when Kiely was found, everything changed because now we had to learn how we were going to live our lives without her, how we were going to make it through this tragic thing that happened with her. It should have been something like that. Not, so you find out Kiely's been found, and your first thing is, how are we going to celebrate the Truckee community? Are you freaking kidding me? What kind of bull crap answer, what kind of bull crap statement is that? Are we here for this? Are we here for this girl? Are we here for Kiely or not? Because it really doesn't seem like any of these people were. She deserved way better. I feel like we should all, have our own, ceremonies for her. To just wish her, peace and happiness and I feel like we could have given her a better memorial service than that, and we don't even know her. It makes me so mad, and it's so disgusting how all this is happening, and it seems like nobody gives a crap about this girl. It's sad. It really is sad. It's terrible. But yeah, there was just a lot of everything was wrong with this. And I don't know how anybody could look at this and say, oh, what a beautiful ceremony that was. No, it was freaking weird and crappy. And she deserved way better. It's just terrible. And real quick, while I got you here, let's talk about Sammy. So I'm gonna put a clip up of the words. Somebody put the words to the song she was singing, and it perfectly matches her singing. And it's crappy. It's like what up? And I look at that video honestly, the one she did with the headlight on, and she is laughing in everybody's face. Hey everybody, real quick video here. So until we figure out what actually happened, or until we hear any facts of the case, I just want to say, let's just talk about the people that failed Kiely. Her so-called friends failed her that night when nobody had her back. Her so-called friends failed her when nobody was there for her. Nobody stood up for her. The community failed her when not one person was willing to speak out against what happened to her. Not one person in that community was willing to stand up for Kiely. Her mother failed her when she decided to go back to bed that night and not call the cops or find out what happened to her. Her mother failed her when she let her go to a party, and didn't drive her there, didn't pick her up, basically left her on her own. Her mother failed her the next day when she got up and she went to go wait at Starbucks with her friends. Her mother failed her when she was defending the teens and not standing up for her daughter. Her mother failed her when she started pushing this accidental bullshit. Her mother failed her again when she told everybody on social media to stop worrying about the case and to just drop it. The local cops failed Kiely when they didn't immediately take the teens who were last known to see her in for questioning. Everybody failed Kiely in this case. And that is just the bottom line. The only people that did not fail Kiely was AWP, who found her. And in my opinion, the only people that are not failing Kiely right now are those of us that are asking questions and trying to figure things out. We are the only ones that have Kiely's back. We are the only ones that are standing up for Kiely. And that's just the way that I see it. So no matter the outcome of all of this, everybody involved failed Kiely. We are trying to stand up for her and figure out what happened to her. Okay, so let me just expand on that last video where I pointed out the fact that Lindsay, out of her own mouth, claimed the last time she saw her daughter was Friday morning. She never reported her daughter missing until Saturday at 5 p.m. Okay, that's off a long time. Now, let's talk about the fact that, and these are from her own words, let's talk about the fact that she said she knew her daughter was at a party where there was drinking going on, right? And her daughter texts her to see if to tell her that she is going to be late. The mother texts her back. She does not call her to see if she is okay. She does not call her to see what is going on. She texts her back and says, "Wake me up when you get home." So she goes to bed. Lindsay goes to sleep. wakes up the next morning, realizes her daughter is not home, and goes to sit at fucking Starbucks to wait for her daughter. Okay, if that doesn't give you guys red flags, let's go to the next thing. So all these phone calls get made. Jagger gets a phone call, but they don't report. But Lindsay does not report her daughter missing. Don't you find that odd? Lindsay does not go to Prosser, where she claims that she knows her daughter was, where the party was, right? Lindsay never goes there. Lindsay does not give AWP the contact number for her. So when AWP finds her, they do not contact Lindsay. Lindsay is nowhere to be found. Lindsay wants to go on national television and beg for people to help find her daughter with her fake whining face, but no actual tears ever from this woman. Not one freaking tear. Okay? Say what you want about that, whatever. And then let's go to the fact that she says that she cannot be out searching for her daughter because she's not trained to look for missing people. You're a freaking mom. You don't need to be trained. It's called instinct. Do you have motherly instinct? Did you lose out on that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, to say something so stupid like, oh, I can't go look for her because I'm not trained to look for missing people. That's your daughter. You should have a connection with her like nobody else. But you can't go out and look for her. So you'd rather sit at base camp with all these people who are singing and laughing and playing guitars and hanging out and eating. Yeah. And people want to tell them, and people wonder why everybody's skeptical of Lindsay. People wonder why. and then she wants to go on TV and tell everybody to mind their own business, that this was an accident. After she said how many times that her daughter would never drink and drive. Kiely would never drink and drive. She's not that kind of person. She would never do that. Flip the switch. Oh, the script just flipped. It's an accident. Now she's pushing this accident. And you know what? I don't care how anybody feels about this. There's something very wrong with that woman. It's like she does not have a connection to Kiely. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I have 2 daughters. So trust me, I know. Okay, you know about any of you out there that have kids, you know mother talk about. It is really going on with the mother. Do we not have the right to question, as shady as she has been? Do we not? That's all I'm saying. So stop standing up and defending Lindsay when all she wanted to do was stand there and defend those teens. Her daughter is gone. That's all I'm saying. We're the ones out here trying to figure out what happened to her. Lindsay's just fine with everybody shutting up, calling it an accident, and moving on with her life. Ask yourself why that is. All right, you guys, I felt like I had to expand on that because people were like, oh, that's not reason enough to, accuse the mother. No, but how about all these things? Hey, everybody. So I hope everybody is good. I hope you all had a good day and a good things that I want to talk about real quick. First thing I want to mention is we will be doing our first giveaway this month. That is so exciting. So Thursday, I will be putting a video out that'll include all the details and all the information on the giveaway. So be sure to check this out earlier. Thanking all the new people, all the new members that joined the CNY family, and every single one of you, all of our subs, all of our members. Next thing is our channel over here. All opinions are welcome here. I state my opinion, and I always, and have been following me, you know that. I always say that. So again, we look at all different kinds of theories on this case. We've talked about all different kinds of things. So it's not been just a one-sided thing. Yes, I have always thought Sammy is involved, and I still do. In the beginning, I did not really I wasn't really thinking about the mom in the beginning, but the more we went through the case and the more things come out and the more we talked, like, yeah, I don't care. I think the mom knows a lot more than she is saying. So I'm just going to leave it at that, but that's just my opinion, right? So those of you that get mad, whatever, but I don't discourage anybody's opinion. You know what I mean? Okay. The next thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about the freaking petition that Squirrel Girl had started for AWP to get the reward money. Now, one of her parents, but it did say that one of the parents is going against the petition. So, don't we? Right? So we got a lot more work to do. But listen, with this case, because there's so little facts in this case, and everybody that has come out that's claimed to be from the party or claimed to know these people or claimed to be attached to the family, they've all been full of shit. We've all caught them in lies. I mean, SF Investigates even freaking deleted his Twitter. So I'm saying, but I'm not saying, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? So must have got sick of people asking them hard questions. That's what I say. Now listen, I think that anybody that is looking for the truth in this case, nobody should be knocking any channel that is trying to figure this case out. I think that there's so many of us that are working on this Kiely case that are trying to figure it out. And we all think in our own ways. We all have different ways of thinking, right? It's what makes the world a beautiful place. But so nobody should be bashing any channel that is trying to find out the truth, right? If you don't ask the hard questions and you don't dig and research and trying to find anything that you can find, then you're not really doing. One of the really bad things about this video coming out and so many people jumping on the boat is, everybody was we all had different opinions, but at least everybody was fighting for the truth. Everybody was seeking for the truth. Everybody wanted to know what exactly happened to Kiely. That was the one thing we all had in common. And as soon as this video comes out, people don't question it. They just say, oh, okay, yep, there it is, accident. And now, do you know how many people have completely, totally flipped from foul play to accident? It doesn't even make sense because y'all know, go check out my community post that I posted about the headlights. I took it at 3:09. If you pause that video at exactly 3:09, you can see the two headlights facing the camera, and it just keeps going straight. The car does not go down a freaking hill. The car does not go into the water. Okay, that's just my opinion. But let's say it did. Let's say just for shits and giggles it did. Okay, how does that change your mind from foul play to accident? We know she didn't drive herself in that damn lake from the hatchback of the car. So, it really just bothers me that now that this come out, people are like, okay, well, we're no longer looking for answers. We're no longer seeking the truth. We're just going to go along to get along and say, okay, I guess we're done with this case. It's disgusting. We're supposed to be truth seekers fighting for justice for Kiely. And, they throw out one thing and it just sucks everybody in. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just wanted to put this out because it seems like we have lost a lot of people in the fight. In this fight for justice for Kiely, it seems that a lot of people jumped off the boat and are swimming over to, the accident boat, which to me makes zero sense. And it makes me wonder if you really were ever out for justice in the first place. So I just wanted to say that. It won't stop me. I'm going to continue to dig and, try to find the truth for this girl. All right. Love you guys. See you later. Hey, good morning, everybody. Okay, so I wanted to put together this video. I think it'll open some people's eyes. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is the grandparents' letter. Now, if you remember, they wrote a letter. Hold on. Okay. This letter was published August 26th, 2022. Dear Sheriff Moon, over the last 17 days, we have been filled with uncertainty, grief, and fear. Locating our granddaughter on Monday has brought us an element of resolution. While not the conclusion we had hoped for, this agony has been brought to an end. Yes, we are saddened, but we now know where our dear Kiely rests. It took an army of individuals to find her, from backcountry hikers to the FBI, divers, the tow truck operator, print shops, sheriffs, police, Homeland Security, and ultimately the Adventures with Purpose team who found her. Collectively, we all made it happen. Everyone volunteered their skills, stood up for Kiely, and hit the pavement running. In the end, we found her. There will always be an armchair warrior contributing an unproductive display of criticism, ridicule, and blame. The Nevada and Placer County Sheriff's Office gave it their all. Okay. Now, again, this was published August 26, 2022. The grandparents wanted to thank the people that found her, and they said, from backcountry hikers to the FBI, divers, and the tow truck operator. So the grandparents must believe that the tow truck operator, was telling the truth. Now, let's see. Adventures. Oh, let me pull that up. Hold on a second. Sorry. Adventures with Purpose put their trailer out for the Kiely video August 31st. August 31st, they put their video out, their trailer. Okay. So that letter was written before that came out. Now, AWP did have contact with the grandfather. So I'm sure that he talked to the grandfather about the tow truck operator. But I just wanted to say that we believe that Grandpa is on the up and up and that Grandpa truly cared for Kiely. So when he says that the tow truck operator, he believes in that, I think that's something. Okay. Again, so next thing I want to talk to you guys about is this. I said that I was not going to touch on this video again, but I pulled up some pictures, you guys, that I want you to see. Now, this is what water should look like when a car goes into it. Okay. Now, according to that video that people want to say is Kiely's car going into the lake, and I'm not even going to argue about that anymore. I'm over arguing with people about that. People will think what they want to think. But look at the splash this car makes when it enters the water. And this one was going pretty slow. Okay. Look at the splash that it makes. Now look at the ripple effect in the water. You can clearly see it. It goes out quite far from the car. Okay. Here's even more ripples as it goes out. You can clearly see it in the water. So, now this car was going a lot faster when it entered the water, but look at the big splash that it made. You don't see any of that in that video, okay? If a car goes into the water, and if you're going off of that video, that car never it hit the brakes. Again, I don't think it went in the water, but just for argument's sake, we're going to say that it did, okay? Where's all the ripple effect in the water? Where's the huge giant splash from a 6,000-pound vehicle entering the water? You don't see any of that. That should tell you, using common sense, that a car did not enter the water, okay? So maybe that can help open some of your guys' eyes. It just doesn't make any sense, y'all. It just doesn't make any sense. So, now one of my followers actually went to Prosser, took a bunch of pictures for me and some short video clips. So I'm gonna throw these in here. And you can clearly see that when that car is on the top of that hill where they're saying that it went in, that is quite a steep hill. You would be able to see that in the video. But since people can't seem to wrap their heads around that, I'm going to throw some pictures and some videos up here for you guys to see just how steep that incline is, okay? Okay. Now, I understand that at some point, we know her car went in the lake because AWP pulled her car out of the lake, okay? I get that. But you have to really think about the timing of things. You have to think about who puts something out. You also, I don't care what anybody else says. Any video can be taken and manipulated. Okay. YouTube, you backtube Jeff, I think that's his name. Or is it? I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But he made a video, like a reenactment, showing how he could fake that video. Now, if y'all haven't seen that, I suggest you go and watch it. I will leave a link in the description below. But it just goes to show you how easily that video could have been made. Now, I'm just going to leave it at that. You know, you make your own judgments. You make your own, you know, you believe what you want to believe. But I just put it out there so you can make your own decisions about it, okay? In my opinion, that video did not prove a damn thing. In my opinion, the car did not go into the lake because there was no effect of the water. That's the biggest thing, you guys. Anybody who wants to make an argument, look at the water. It's still, there's no ripples. There was no big splash. Okay. Next thing. All right, now I'm going to read you a few things from Twitter. One is from a person, and the other ones are from Alert California. Okay. All right, so this one says people falling. This was done October 10th. People falling for a fake site about the fire cam footage archives. The real website doesn't have archives. Why would it have? That amount of data would drain servers for nothing. And the cams can only go back 12 hours, always have. Okay. This is from Alert Wildfire Camera System. Okay, September 27th. The Alert wildfire camera setup has launched a new site where people can access live camera footage across the state to spot and observe wildfires. Ahead of it, ahead of an exciting announcement, Alert California is switching sites temporarily. It announced via Twitter. The camera feeds have been moved to a more resilient site, said Neil Driscoll, an Alert Wildfire Team member and geosciences professor at University of California, San Diego. The new temporary site is alertca.live, where people can view live camera feeds across California, including more than 30 cameras in the North Bay. Live. I mean, happening right then. The interim site will be used ahead of the official, more user-friendly public site coming soon, said Caitlin Scully, Communications Program Manager for Alert California. Exact launch date is not available yet, but our developers are working on it. Okay, this was from Alert California, September 23rd. California cameras are up on our temporary public interface. This is an interim site. We will have our official site with enhanced functionality up in the next week. Thank you for your patience. This is September 22nd. You may see some changes with the cameras on the website. Thank you for your patience. They will be viewable to the public soon. All cameras are still functional and available for first responders to use for monitoring and safety. More information to come. So y'all, don't you think it's odd that they went and they redid their system, okay? And then this video comes out. But SF said that he sat on that video for 2 weeks and he put it out October 4th. So if you go back 2 weeks, okay, it was when they were in the middle of changing their system around. What do you guys think about that? I'm just saying, you guys think about it and tell me what you think. Leave comments in the description, or leave comments in the comment section below. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I think a lot of people aren't wanting to question. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand that way of thinking. When you have a case like this, everyone is suspect. Everyone and everything should be questioned. That's just my opinion. Now, SF put out a tweet the other day that said that the FBI has Kiely's phone. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I don't know. I feel like they don't. But that's just my opinion. SF says they do, but I don't know. Something just tells me that they don't have the phone and somebody else has the phone. And I've heard other people say that as well. So for what it's worth, I mean, in my gut, I don't think they have the phone. I think someone else is hiding the phone or has like gotten rid of the phone, but I don't think they have the phone. You know, maybe, just maybe, one of these suspicious characters has the phone. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I hope that this maybe helped open someone's eyes. So just look at the water. Notice that there's no splash, no ripples, no effect to the water whatsoever. Okay, which doesn't make any sense, you guys, if a freaking car goes into it. So, you know, to each their own. I just, I said I was done with this subject of the car, of the video. But, I mean,
I was like, I'll take one more whack at trying to get people to see. Now, that footage, you guys, also with those messages from Alert California themselves. So when SF said that he got that video, right? He said he had it for 2 weeks and he put it out October 4th. Okay. So that would have meant, and you could see right there for yourself, according to them, that that would have been impossible. It would have been impossible for anybody to get a video from that night when the site was shut down. Like they were in the middle of transitioning to a new site, and they said that you could only access the live footage at that time. Okay, now I don't know if they have archives on the site. A lot of people who use it regularly say that they didn't have archives. It only went back 12 hours, which would make sense because you want to monitor a fire that's happening now, not a fire that happened, a month ago. So I don't know, but to each their own again. So I hope that maybe this reached somebody or helped open somebody's eyes to the possibility that this video was not gospel, because I just think that they wouldn't do that without a reason, right? They wouldn't.
Hey, everybody. How are you guys? Hope everybody's good. Okay, so everybody keeps asking, have I seen the videos? Have I seen the videos? That people are saying was Sammy all them years ago. I have seen them. I saw both the Sammy Sam channel and the 5 Super Kids. It's so hard to say, you guys, because looks change over that period of time, right? Like you look totally different. So the one with her in the jersey, the football one, that does kind of look like her, but the girl in the video has a mole on the side of her neck. So Sammy could have and then like got it removed. That happens. But the other one to me doesn't look like her. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not decided on that, I guess. So that's how I feel about that. Not for nothing, but she does look older than 18. But that being said, girls look a lot older than they are a lot of the time, right? That's true, So, she could be. And with her being in theater and her, making herself the center of attention on this case and her making herself, point man, I think to her, she was playing a part for her. Like in her own mind, she was playing this part of this grieving friend and it was all a part to her. Obviously, we know Sammy didn't give a shit about Kiely. Now, so that's what I was getting at with the theater picture, with Sammy being in theater. That's what I was getting at. And again, I did think it's odd. I still think it's odd that they were in theater together and no, that was never mentioned. But, not for nothing. But I truly believe that Kiely was killed. And I believe it's being covered up by the people in this town, this community. And I believe that everybody involved covering it up, and this was all, they all had their own parts to play, right? They all had their own parts to play, and they played them. And I'm sure they will all get paid for playing those parts. But don't get me wrong. I believe 100% in my heart that Kiely was killed by these people, and these people are covering it up, okay? And when the video, what did I say, y'all? When I went back and I read that that thing from CHP. It was, God, how long ago now? Like, it was a while ago. I went and I read it, and it said that CHP was investigating this as a motor vehicle accident. Okay. And then the video came out. Everybody was like, oh my God, yep, that's her. She drove in the lake, accident. And then what did I say? I said that people are going to, or they put this out, so when they come out with the announcement that it's an accident, we'll all, just move on. And let me just remind you that the cops, Nevada County Sheriff's Office, said that they were not going to release anything until November 1st. They have not released anything. This coroner report that came out, yes, it is incomplete. It is not completed. At least that's what, that's the only thing that I could figure. Because it was, are you all right? Mace. So then the coroner's report came out, and it came out the way that it did. And of course, none of it made any sense, just like everything else. And it said accidental drowning. Again, this is to get, this was the plan the whole entire time. Everybody played their parts. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. They knew that it was going to be labeled an accident. When I believe when AWP found her vehicle, that was when it kicked from the first mode that it was in. That was when it kicked into, right then, let's start to make this look like an accident. This has to come out as an accident, right? Because they were just going to leave her unfound for a while. And then, like I said, I believe that this was the plan the whole entire time. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at my son. I'm like, what is he doing over there? And these things happen for a reason. And we watched this whole case from the beginning. We watched all the people that came out that didn't make any sense. Everybody's story was, and this is the part, everybody's story was that Kiely was at this party. She was wasted. She got in the car and she drove home, and she didn't make it. Like Sammy said, she wouldn't have made it very far, right? And that didn't match with the coroner's report at all. If anything, it contradicted the coroner's report. I mean, if anything, the coroner's report contradicted the stories that everybody came out to tell. And them playing their parts, like Sammy played it, this was her shining moment. You know what I mean? This was her playing like a main leading role, right? And I'm saying this is how she looked at it inside her own head, because she's obviously a lunatic, right? So she did her part and then she left. That's why she's off at wherever she is. I don't know where she is. She's off somewhere living her life with no worry of getting in trouble. Now, these cops made it a point throughout this investigation to tell the kids that they would not get in trouble. If you knew anything, if it had anything to do, listen, we're not interested in the drugs, okay? You will not get in trouble for that. We are not looking at the drugs. We are looking to find what happened to Kiely and who knows something. That was exactly what they said. Which is perhaps why no mention of fentanyl or anything else, why they didn't test for that. No DNA, no dental records, no fluid was taken from behind the eye, which is how they can best test for drugs and everything else in your system. She was ID'd by a cop, by a detective. Her parents were not there. The height and weight did not match. Her hair length did not match. Nothing matched. It said she had a tattoo on her hip. We were told she had a tattoo on her rib. This girl was killed. They are covering it up. This is corruption that we are all watching happen. You know, Edmund Burke said, all it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And that is 100% true. If everybody just wants to back down and not, of course, I mean, how many Kielys have there been before? You know, how many people were killed and it just protected and swept under the rug? And it will just continue to happen until it is exposed and until something is done about it. That's just how the world works, okay? So there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of things that tell you that there was in no way an accident. No way whatsoever. Guys, we could all clearly watch this cover up happen. And we're watching the corruption take place right in front of our own eyes. And you know what? I've always backed AWP. And I didn't really attack them when they came out and I was pissed when they came out and made the statement they were going to stand behind Ellie. Yeah, I was mad. But I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't go after them. I didn't say anything against them except I cannot believe they are backing Ellie, knowing what they know. But again, if you know something and you don't stand up and you don't say anything, this is going to continue. There's going to be many other Kielys. There's going to be, and they could, you know what I mean? Not for nothing, but they're somebody's child. The only way to make it stop is to make it stop, is to expose it, and everybody that was involved gets gone. You're not gone. I don't want to say it like that, geez, but like, gets removed from whatever it is that they do. So, yeah, I have lost a lot of respect for Adventures with Purpose. Yes, I am thankful that they found her. But again, they're good men standing around doing nothing, watching the corruption happen. It's either that or I was wrong about them and they were never in it for the truth for Kiely. All right. So they have found her. Unfortunately, her car has been found. It's been pulled out of the lake 14 feet deep. Okay, 14 feet deep. This is why this shit doesn't make any sense. It's just more stuff in this case that makes 0 sense. So she was found, what they say, about 20 to 30 yards from shore. Her car was found 20 to 30 yards from shore, 14 feet down. They have sent teams of divers in there over and over and over again. Nobody found anything. There were boats in there with a sonar. Nobody found the car. Is it just me? Do you guys not think the same thing? Like, it's totally crazy. Whoops. Anyway, not only that, but how suspicious is it that they find the car just a couple, 2 days after Sammy and her family take off out of state? They find the car after Upchurch has already brought all of this stuff up. Upchurch has brought all of these other people out of, up into the light so people could see what was going on. I'm not saying they're connected, but what I'm saying is it's very suspicious timing. Okay. That's what I'm saying. And it makes the only way, in my opinion, that you could say, the only thing, in my opinion, that you'd be able to, excuse me, that you would be able to justify for nobody finding this car before is if local enforcement, I will say, was not supposed to find the car. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Whoops. What in the hell? It makes zero sense to me, but listen to this. This is why I'm saying this about the cops that have been searching there. Okay? Listen to this and tell me you do not find this fishy. All right, divers find body and overturned car in search of missing California teen Kiely Rodni. Divers searched for missing California teen Kiely Rodni said they have discovered a body and an overturned car in the reservoir near where she was last seen more than 2 weeks ago. A dive crew found what they believe is the 2013 Honda CRV that Rodni drove to a graduation party near the lake of Prosser Creek Reservoir Sunday afternoon. Okay. Listen. The diver who spotted the vehicle under the water told the Post that its license plate matches the plate of the Honda Rodni was driving at the time of her disappearance. However, police could not immediately identify the body. Yes, this is where it gets a little crazy, okay? Okay. Fellow partygoers had reported that she had been drinking at the party. What partygoers? Besides her friends? What other partygoers have come forward? None that we know of. So I'm not sure what that's all about. Dive Crew Adventures with Purpose was recruited by law enforcement for the probe and began searching the reservoir on Sunday. Okay, listen to this. The divers searched nearly every body of water near Truckee, California before probing the water closest to where the party was held one last time. Now listen, this is where local law comes into question, okay? The team had been assured by law enforcement on the ground that the body of water had already been searched thoroughly, but they decided to check again. Now this is coming from Josh Cantu, one of the divers. He said, "Police told us they did a rigorous search of this body of water." Diver Josh Cantu, 31, said, "They gave us a grid map and made us confident we did not need to search here." Within a few minutes of diving, one of the team members, Nick Rinn, 48, found a body in a car close to shore. Now, why would local law enforcement be telling them, no, you don't need to search this body of water because we've been through it multiple times. There's nothing in there. And then these guys are like, well, since we're out here, let's just take a look anyway. We might as well, right? So they go in and just happen to find the car 30 feet off a shore, 14 feet down, which, by the way, the car itself has to be like 5.5 feet tall, right? So you only have to, so it's only really about 8-9 feet until you hit that car. So 8-9 feet under the water, nobody could see the car. No sonars picked it up. Nothing. How does that make any sense? Now you could say a couple of different things. A, that the cops didn't really search that water thoroughly because they didn't want to find something. like they were, how do I want to put this? They were told to look in the other direction. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, unless law enforcement was told by somebody else higher up that they were not to find anything. You know what I mean? Like, how is that not? That's possibility A. Okay. Possibility B. They did search that place thoroughly. They did search that lake thoroughly over and over again and never found anything. So, theory B, the car wasn't in there until recently. I just don't know about that. Like, B, just like, how would somebody get the car in there? Haven't they been there? Haven't they been there searching? So how would somebody sneak the car in now? You know what I mean? Or like in the last couple days. But it is super weird because Mystical Mermaid made a video a few days ago. And she was trying to get it to Upchurch. Like, she kept trying to, she's like, I sent it to him. I haven't heard anything. And, you know, a lot of people take, what do you call her? A lot of people take readers and just write them off because they think they're crazy. But she said, and now I'm not saying that this lady's, you know, let's take her word for everything, but it's crazy because she said that they're going to make it look like an accidental drowning. They're going to make it look that way. But that is not what happened to her, right? But, oh, and she said, she's like, up until recently, she was not, she said, she goes, I see her now in the water, but she has not been in the water up until this point when she made the video. And she, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying that she's right. I'm just saying it's weird, right? That she says that, and then all of a sudden the car shows up in the lake that's been searched a fucking 100 times already. Nobody sees how crazy that is. Nobody sees how totally insane that is. It's like, I don't know why. I was on All American Dream Chaser earlier, and I said the same thing to them. It's like, there's too many coincidences for this to be just an accident, right? It smells too much like like foul play, but it smells too much like a, I don't know, what's the word I want to use? Like, cover up's not the right word, but do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, there's just too much wrong here. And they think people are stupid. You know, and unfortunately, nobody's saying, like, everyone just wants to assume, okay, yep, she got drunk, she was messed up, she was wasted at the party, and then she drove her car into the lake. How come when they searched when they first got to that area and they searched that lake and they had all these hundreds of thousands of people looking, all these man hours, and they literally were like, okay, let's check around the lakes first. No tire tracks leading into the lake. So the car couldn't have gone in then because there was no tracks going into the water. So how'd the car get in there? If it was in there then, how did they not find the tracks? Right? It's bonkers. And another thing. I mean, there's just so many things. This is crazy. But another thing. Let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say that she did go into the water 2 weeks ago. She went in the water that night, right? Let's just say that. There isn't going to be any DNA. Not after being in the water for 2 weeks. There's no DNA. The water washes that shit away. Secondly, and I don't know about this for sure, But after 2 weeks, like if she did have drugs in her system, not saying she took them on her own, I'm just saying if she did have drugs in her system, like I don't know if that would show up after so long, you know? And how come? You got to ask yourself because my gut tells me that Sammy is involved. I don't give a shit what anybody says. This girl is guilty of something, whether it's, you know, being the one who helped get rid of Kiely, or it's being somebody that knew what happened to Kiely and never said anything, or it's somebody that set her up to have something bad happen to her. And then she just runs the whole thing. But nobody else thinks it's totally crazy that she's been running the show from the beginning. She's there. She had people, she was talking to the kids. She had the microphone. She was basically leading the search parties. And now she's nowhere to be found. And a couple of days after she leaves state, the car is found. Kiely's found. Is that not a huge, giant, big, fat red flag coincidence or what? Because there's so many people now that are like, okay, let's end these theories. You know, she really did. No, the only people that said she was drunk and wasted and fucked up on drugs was the two friends. That's it. That's it. That's why we all think that she was on drugs. There's no proof of that. But everybody just wants to assume that. When there's this many things wrong with a case, it's never just cut and dry. You know, I'm glad that she has been found at least. I mean, at least there's that, right? That's the silver lining. Like at least she's not still in there. Like at least she's been found. But okay, now let's figure out how she got there. Was she conscious when she went into that water? If she was alive when she went into the water, when they do the autopsy, they'll find water in her lungs. If she was dead when she went into that water, there will be no water in her lungs. So that'll be a tell right there whether or not she went in alive or dead. But and everyone wants to talk about, oh, Upchurch, now you need to apologize to Ickmel and that Xaname chick. No, he don't need to apologize to anybody. Because whether or not, first of all, Upchurch never came out and said, Ickmel, you took Kiely. I mean, that's just dumb, right? It's all fishy. What he found out, that shit's still crazy, whether, you know, Kiely's been found or not. And that other chick, yeah, I don't know about her. When she just left, when she was on with All American Dream Chaser and Upchurch, and she just left and then like took everything down or whatever, that's suspicious, guys. But anyway, they went into the water. But I think now, okay, now let's start grilling Sammy. Now let's get Sammy in here because she says she was the last person to see her, and now we know she's dead. So let's get this girl in. Let's start interrogating her. Let's get the truth out of her because she knows a lot more than she is telling. And why are they out of state right now anyway? Why'd she leave? Why'd she leave the search? Could it be because she knew that the car was going to be found? Could it be, which, how could she have known that unless, ding, 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 she had something to do with it? Or her parents had something to do with it? Like, why is she gone all of a sudden? See, this is what I'm saying, guys. Let them grieve. And, you know, we need to just leave them alone. Case solved. No, case is not solved. And I have respects for her family. My heart goes out to them. And you know, that wasn't on their plate. Worrying about Sammy was not on their thing. And now who knows what's going to happen. But we need to stay on this because whoever is guilty needs to be proven guilty. Like this cannot just go cold and okay, nobody ever pays for it. No, that can't happen. So I'm just saying, don't believe you, like, think for yourself. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to say, excuse me. The first thing I want to say is I was sitting there talking to my boyfriend about this, okay? And a lot matters. Like we kept saying, like, what gear was the car in when it went? We need to know what gear the car was in, right? Was it in drive? Was it in park? Was it in neutral? Like, what's going on here? Okay. Now I'm gonna pull this video up. Now, my boyfriend Chad said, if the vehicle is in drive, right? When they pulled it out, if the vehicle was in drive, the wheels would not have spun backwards. The wheels would come out and they'd skid, right? It'd be like a skid. The only way that the wheels would spin backwards is if the car was in neutral when it, if the car was in neutral. Okay. Now, the dive team never said anything about we had to put the car in neutral or anything like that. Chad said the only exception to this would be is if they were pulling it out and the axle broke. That would be the only other explanation for the wheels spinning backwards. So, my thing is, and let me say this before everybody starts flipping out, okay? This is my opinion. This is my theory. All right. So, you all think for yourself, but check this out, okay? Hold on. Let me pull this up on my bigger screen. Give me 1 second. I mean, there's just so many things with this case that and every day it just gets worse for me because I like literally I'm like I cannot take it anymore. It's so crazy. All right, just give me 1 second. Let me pull this up on my over here what I'm doing. I gotta shut my door. My dog just came in. Savannah, put Bella downstairs. Okay, ready? Okay, now I want you to pay close attention to the back wheels. And I want you to tell me what you see. Check it out. Do you see those wheels spinning backwards? See it? It's not being dragged. It's not being pulled. Like I mean, it's obviously being pulled, but.
Your tires. You can't see them.
Yes, you can.
I couldn't see them on my end.
Okay, so did you guys see that? You guys see the wheels? Do you see them rolling backwards? Right here? So that either means, I mean, the most sense makes that car is in neutral. Right? I'm not crazy. Like Chad said, unless they broke the axle pulling it out, but
Or the transfer case or something. There's a lot of car guys out there that would definitely
Tim,
know.
you can't come up here and tell me I'm wrong.
No, it definitely looks like it's in neutral, doesn't it? The tires are spinning.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? Because it certainly looks to me like those tires are going backwards. Like they're spinning backwards, which would not happen. Oh. Bobo, get out. Would not happen unless the car was in. I mean, it wouldn't happen if the car was in gear.
And that's a
So
good
that's just the first thing.
and that's a good find because the quality of the video that the news put out, you couldn't even see, you couldn't notice if the tires were turning. So
No, you couldn't.
it was all blurchy and blopped out. But yeah, you picked that out to me. I didn't notice that. I thought they were dragged out. I didn't think they were moving at all. But
Yeah, like you can clearly see them spinning, in my opinion.
that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. I mean, what do you guys think? Yeah. I mean, that would certainly, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would certainly point to that would be very suspicious if her car was in neutral when it went into the water. What do you guys think? Let's go. Let me go see. And I told you, I'm sorry, I have to do this. It's so ridiculous. I need to get another screen up in here so I don't have to do this. Yes, spinning, right? They're totally spinning. So I'm not crazy. But that means that the car was in neutral. Now, the dive team, when they put out their thing, they never said anything about having to change gears. They never specified what gear it was in, right? So, hey, I think it was in neutral. That's just my opinion. You guys can obviously think for yourselves, but that's one thing. All right. Let's see this. This is from Little Lee XOXO. It says, now zoom all the way in. It looks like a clean cut. Then redirect yourself to the right-hand side. There is a jagged-like piece of glass on the car. All right, let's see. Oh, this thing. All right, let's see. So you can see right here, clearly see right here, that the back window is down. It is rolled down. It's about, I'd say, a quarter of the way up, maybe a little more than a quarter, but it's right here. This is where the window stops. So the back window was down. Okay. Now, we don't know this front window is not there. It's gone. But you could see little shards of like glass right up here in the corner. Okay, so my thing is, right? If she went into the water, like she had to have been unconscious or not alive when she went into that water because she was a small girl. If she went in and she was alive, she could have easily swam out this window right here. This guy's in my way, but you can see right here. She could have swam out that window. She could have been able to get out. Because we don't know if the front window was smashed when it went into the water, or if it was smashed when the car was flipped over. Was down. When the car went into the water, you would not have been able to roll the windows up or down because it would have fried it. They're electric windows. So there would have been no her trying to roll the window down, right? So clearly she could not have made it, or she could not have gotten out if she was unconscious in the back seat. So my thing is, and you guys, you do not have to listen to me. Think for yourselves, look at the pictures, figure it out for yourselves. But in my opinion, okay, she had to have been already gone, or at least, the very least, unconscious when she went into that water. Because, and I'm going to say this again too, if she was driving and she was wasted, like everybody, like not everybody, but a lot of people want to say it was a terrible accident. She was drunk, wasted, drove into the lake. Okay. I'm going to tell you why there's so many things wrong with that, but everybody is entitled to their opinion. Okay. But if she was drunk and she went into that water, then I don't know. Does anybody know the temperature of that water that night? Can anybody find that out? But it would have, your body would have gone into like it would have, I think you would have came out of that fairly quickly.
Any of that damage, I think it was already
Right.
done.
Right. But so that's what I wanted to point that out, because I don't know if everybody saw that, but that back window is down. So she, in my opinion, she must have been, like I said, either unconscious or already gone, unfortunately, when her vehicle went into the water. She was a small girl. She could have swam out of that had that not been the case.
Right.
What do you guys think? Conduct says, what if it were front wheel drive?
It was all-wheel drive.
It was all-wheel drive, they said.
And it doesn't matter if it was front-wheel drive. If a vehicle's in gear,
They can't hear you.
if a vehicle's in gear, it wouldn't move at drag unless the axles broke or like the drive shaft or something would have to break.
Right. And DB, yes, that's what I was saying. The dive team does make it. They said they do not touch anything. So.
And they couldn't roll the window down once it hit water. Electric windows, they don't work.
Right, that's what I said.
So I think it had to be in neutral. I think you're right. Which would be crazy.
Right. DB says, someone in another chat, by looking up the original dealer manual, that this car came standard with light tinted glass. Well, I mean, tinted or not, you can clearly see that window is down in the back seat. You know? She said, we can hear him, don't worry. I didn't. All right, let's go over. See, when this first happened and I first heard this kid and he was like, Kiely's safe. I know she's safe. You know, I was like, okay, I don't know about this, because I felt like, who says that, right? Like, if your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend or somebody you care about is missing and has been missing, like, are you going to say, I know they're safe? So I was kind of sketchy about him, but I'm going to play this if you guys have not seen it yet.
And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to process it. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to process it. I know that it fucking hurts, and I know that it hurts all of you. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone that put the effort in and tried so fucking hard to bring her home. It really means a lot to me. And I'm sure it means a lot to her too. Thank you. Because she wouldn't want us to sit around sad as fuck all the time. She wants us to be happy, and she wants us to be safe, and she wants us to have a good life. That's all she ever wanted for anyone. I don't want to go fully public with it. Like, I'm not trying to put this on the news and everything, but I just wanted my closer friends to. And from now on, I want each and every one of you to live the way that Kiely would want you to live.
Isn't that sad? Like, he was obviously sad. Like, it really bothered him. I don't think he can really process this in his mind right now. Like, he's like, this is so fucked up. Like, I think he is going through a lot right now, and I really do think he cared. I mean, he was not there. I'm not I'm not sure why he wasn't there, but he was not there. And you know, this is gonna haunt him for the rest of his life, because he's always going to, you know, blame himself for not being there. And so, you know, I just can't be hard on him, you know? Like, it's so sad. It's so sad for anyone that cared about her, her family. It's a terrible thing. And I just want to make sure, like, when I make these videos, I am not trying to, you know, I want her family to have peace and, you know, but I don't think that could happen until the guilty parties are found guilty. Like, that's all I want to do. I don't know, Kiely, but if that was me, I would want people to do exactly what we are doing. I would want, if that was my daughter, I would want people to find the answers. I would want people to figure out what happened. You know, so that's all I want to do. Okay. Now, this came from people that were at the campsite, right? They were camping, okay, the night that the party happened.
Upchurch's video is crazy though.
Can you guys all like see everything okay? Because it's kind of coming in sketchy on my TV over here. Can you guys see everything all right? DB, let me know.
Upchurch said, "Ask me." What is it? Ask me to sell your kid. Ask your man to sell me your kid. That's funny. That's crazy.
It's like, it's the stupidest thing. Okay, yeah. See, it's like way over to the right on my TV screen, but on my screen in front of me, it's like right where it needs to be. So 12:30 a.m. Our campground is ground zero for the search and rescue efforts. Yesterday, the sheriff brought out a boat to search the reservoir we are staying at. This is so scary and so real, and daily we see and hear helicopters flying all over the Truckee area. Posters on every business storefront and search parties and law enforcement everywhere. Okay. Now, this is why I have a question. This is the only thing I have with this. So, these people were camping half mile from where the party took place, right? But we told them that we only saw a train of cars going to the party, and another large group of cars leaving the party. But they never mentioned the party. The only thing we saw was cars coming and cars going. But I mean, wouldn't you hear the party going on? Now, half a mile, right? There was music, there was kids, drunk kids, right? Being loud, kids are loud. And doing all these things. Like, wouldn't you hear it? Or do you think they just didn't mention that? Because the only thing they said they saw was cars coming in and cars going out. So I wonder, like, if they heard the party or if they just like didn't mention that. What do you guys think? Because I thought that was kind of weird. Like, you're half a mile. Like, I have neighbors that live down the road from me. I live in the country, and I have neighbors that live like down the road from me, and they fight like cats and dogs, and I can hear them fighting in my yard. It's so crazy. So you'd think that you'd be able to hear a bunch of craziness going on. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay. Now this, I don't care if you think this was an accident, if you think this was done intentionally, I don't care what you think. This, you cannot tell me that this does not boggle your mind, okay? So, here is where the party was, right? Here's where the party was, okay? Here's where her car was found. LE searched this area for 15 days. I'm sorry, 15 or 16. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 15 or 16 days. They were searching there. That is not a long distance. Okay. I mean, not really. Not for searching. They said they covered 80 miles. And I'm sorry. I said this in my last live, but this is ridiculous. How in the hell was her car not freaking found by local law enforcement? They had boats in the water with sonars. They searched it rigorously. According to them, they searched it rigorously multiple times. How did they miss the freaking car? Right? It's I'm sorry. I gotta not get mad, not start yelling and cussing. So I gotta breathe for a second, but it doesn't make sense. Her car was literally right there, 14 feet underwater. And like I said in my last video, the height of the car was about 5.5 feet tall, you know. So really, they would only had to gone down 8.5, 9 feet. How did they not find it? It doesn't make any sense. You can't be a logical person and tell me that makes any sense. How can that be? How? Like, she's here, and 80 miles is a long way. Like, 80 miles is far. So if they searched an 80-mile radius, would they not have found that? They literally, and I put this in my live the day she was found. If you guys want to, was it yesterday? Yes. I put this in my live after they found her and her car. And I pulled up an article that from the I think New York Post, I think it was, and the dive team guy there, Doug. That's his name, right? Doug. Sorry. The dive team was told, they were given a map. They said, here's the places we need you to search. They said, you don't have to search Prosser Reservoir. You don't have to search it. We've rigorously searched it. We've had multiple dive teams in there. She's not in there. You're clear. It's clear. Move on to the next one. And the guys were like, listen, we're already out here. We got to. Oh, and that's another thing. I got a whole list of notes. But I put them on my computer like a bonehead. And I got to go to them to remember. Usually I write them down, but I had my computer in front of me, so I typed them up instead. But that's another thing. SF Investigations was there on the ground. He was there, and the terrain was so bad, and the potholes were so brutal, right? That he said you could not drive you could not drive faster than 5 miles an hour. You just couldn't. It would not let you. Like, your car would have been all busted up. That's how bad it was. So how can you tell me that somebody got in it, was going fast enough to go into the lake and freaking be out there 50 feet? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree or disagree. It's just what it is. I mean, and I am sorry, but nobody could convince me otherwise, because it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, let me pull up my notes over here. I'll make this smaller. I'll put them over here. Whoa, sorry. Work with me, guys, work with me. Okay, now can somebody please explain to me why there was no law enforcement out there when the divers found her vehicle. Okay. There was no law enforcement there. Now, when SF Investigations did his interview, his recording on there with Sweetie Pilo, he said that there was no law enforcement anywhere on the grounds. Does that not tell you? And they said, and if you remember, they said they were going to scale back on their investigations. Why? Why are you scaling back when you haven't found anything yet? And thank God for AWP, because if they had not gone there, she would still be in there. And that area was written off by local law enforcement. So they would have never searched there again. I mean, this is bonkers. This is the craziest thing. But why was no law enforcement there? Right? Like, if that was my daughter, there's no way. There's no freaking way we're dropping this and you are scaling back. I don't think so. Right? That's how I would be. I feel like that's how any parent would be. But her mom has been through a lot. I mean, this has got to be brutal, right? So I think that's crazy that when the divers found her vehicle, there were no cops there at all. No law enforcement. Law enforcement had to be called in. And imagine getting that phone call, right? You're the cops. Imagine getting that phone call like, we just found her. Where'd you find her? Right here. 14 feet underwater. In an area that they had already searched, and I say searched in quotation marks. You can't see me, but that's what I'm doing. Because it's got to be BS. Right? What do you think? Let's see. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. I know. I thought that too. When he said this is a fucked up situation. But that's what I think. I think he even thinks that there's some shit going on here with definitely, with Sammy. Because he was not there, remember. I think in his head, he even thinks this is fucked up. I know something happened. I know something happened to her. And I know that they had something, like at least she had something to do with it. Like, I think that's what he was saying in this. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? That's what I think. Okay. We already covered the driver's side window being smashed out and her being in the back seat. We already covered that the fact that she would have had to have been unconscious or already gone before entering that water. I mean, law enforcement really dropped the ball here. And we all need to figure out why. All right, covered that. Okay, now couldn't go straight. From where Sammy said in the news thing, from where she said that Kiely's car was parked and all the other cars were parked, there is no straight shot from there into the lake, unless the car was not where she said it was. Here we go again. This girl is a freaking liar. She has lied from the beginning. She is definitely guilty of something. Okay. Yeah, and SF said, I'm not going to come out and say what because nobody really knows what happened except for Kiely, God, and whoever else witnessed it that night or caused it to happen that night. Those are the only people that officially know what happened. Okay. But he said, in his opinion, it would be almost impossible for her to have drove into that water on her own. And if I'm right about that car being in neutral, that is proof enough that somebody did this to her. How can people not see that? Like, that's what we need. If this car is in neutral when it went into that water, oh man, then they have to. Then they're going to be, all right, let's get everybody that was at the party, let's get them all back because now everybody's a suspect. When, in my opinion, everybody should have been suspect from the beginning. They never should have assumed that they were working it like it was an abduction. That never should have happened because all their information they were getting was coming from Sammy. Okay. So they should have never said, okay, we're going to treat this like an abduction. They should have kept treating it like it was a missing person and anything was possible. That is not what happened. Okay, now after they found the car, Prosser County or Prosser PD closed their case because it was in Nevada County. So some point right before the water area, that must have been the Nevada County line or something, because that's what somebody had said. They said that Prosser police had to close their investigation because it happened in Nevada County. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Okay, in the CHP's investigation, remember when they pulled her vehicle out and there was that drone shot, right? There's that drone flying over and you could see an area in the sand that had caution tape around it. Now, SF said that was CHP's investigation. So that was a separate thing from what, they were doing. He said there was nothing physical. There was not one physical thing that area was protecting. But what do you think it was? It had to have been something. Could it have been some kind of tracks? Could it have been some kind of marks? I mean, what do you guys think? Possible tire tracks? They had measuring sticks with so they were measuring for distance. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that's where the car was when it was pushed into the water or however it got in there? Because damn sure, it was not driven in there. It just wasn't. Not by her. I mean, I don't know. Do you think a boat, I think Chad said this. Do you think a boat that was in the water could have dragged the car out into the water? Or another vehicle could have gotten behind it and pushed it out into the water? I mean, that's totally possible, right? Another vehicle could have gotten up behind her vehicle and hit it and pushed it into the water. That totally would have been possible, especially with the vehicle being in neutral. Right? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Do you not see that as a total possibility? Now, if you look at the map, there was a long ass curvy road from where the campsite was to where the water edge is. It's not a straight shot. So the people out there that want to sit there and say, oh, she was wasted, and she fucking drove into the lake. Sorry, there I go cussing again. She drove into the lake. So you're telling me she went all the way down them curvy roads in the dark, all drunk. She could maneuver through that, but drove into the lake? Come on. It doesn't make any sense. Stop it. All right, now, this is going to be a big thing because Sammy wanted to remember when she did her interview and she said, we kept going back to Kiely's car to charge our phone and to get more alcohol. So, was there a bunch of bottles in Kiely's car? Was there any bottles in that car? That'll be important to know. Another thing that'll be important to know. What was she wearing when that car got pulled out? What was she wearing? Because that'll determine who was telling the truth and who was telling a lie. Was her phone in the car? These are all going to be very important things that we need to watch out for and try to pay attention to as this case moves on. I mean, what do you guys think? Because Sammy said we kept going to her car to get more alcohol. So there must have been alcohol in her car. Right? Her phone is missing. It must have been in her car. If it's not in her car, that's another suspect thing. Where the hell is her phone? And it's funny because in one of the interviews Sammy did, she made it a point to say how much Kiely loved water. She was like, oh, she loves water. She loves water skiing. She loves this. She loves that. She loves being in the water. How weird is that? How weird is that to say during an interview? Unless you know that she's in the water. Sketchy, right? I mean, I'm not crazy here. And you know what else? I don't know. I mean, it's just so crazy. Okay, now this is a big deal. Sammy claims to have talked to Kiely at 12:36, even though Kiely's phone last pinged at 12:33. I cut it off here. And she says that Kiely was still at the party because she could hear the party happening in the background. Yet, there was supposedly a mass exodus from the party at 12:30. There are way too many inconsistencies here to be a true story. Okay? Sammy could not have possibly talked to Kiely at 12:36 when her last phone ping was 12:33. And then the phone was dead. No good. Gone. Right? So that's a lie. So we already know that's a lie, but what's she going to do now? Backtrack? She can't backtrack and say, oh no, I was wrong. I didn't talk to her. So she's got to stay with that story. Right? But even though we know it's wrong because her phone last pinged at 12:33. But when Sammy talked to Kiely at 12:36, she knew Kiely was still at the party because she could still hear the party happening in the background. Right? How could the party still be happening in the background when there was a mass exodus of cars leaving at 12:30? Okay, now here's a couple of scenarios I'm going to throw at you, and none of them are good. Okay? Okay, could Kiely have already been gone and her car put into the lake and people saw it happen, which is why the mass exodus, which is why everybody had to get the hell out of there? I mean, I hate to think that, only because how could a bunch of people witness this and not one freaking person come forward and say anything? I mean, there had to have been, if there really was this party that I've yet to see evidence of, if there really was this big party and people really saw her car go into the lake, and there was people that helped put that car into the lake, how could not one of them have a conscience? Right? I mean, what are the chances of that? You'd think if that were the case, one person would have came forward. But it would explain why everybody took off and left out of there, right? Because they didn't all decide to leave at 12:30 to go home and go to bed. We haven't heard of a second party location. Which brings me to another thing. Okay, Miss Sammy over here, who says, and now hold on a second. Here come, okay, so Miss Sammy, who wants to say that she went to Kiely, asked her for a ride. Kiely said, yeah, I'll give you a ride home. And then Sammy went immediately went back to the party, she says, to find another ride because Kiely was too drunk to drive her home. That's what she said, right? So when Sammy supposedly talked to Kiely, she was already on her way home. And if you notice, when she says this, she says, I'm in the car, I'm being driven home. Who drove her home? Because we still don't know that. Who's the mystery driver that drove Sammy wherever she went that night? We don't know. We don't even know where she went. How crazy is that, right? She's a main person in this story, and we don't know where she went after the party. We don't know who she left the party with. Wouldn't these be things that we would know? Wouldn't these be things that she would willingly share, trying to find somebody that she really cares about that's been missing? It's crazy. It is absolutely insane. And SF also said that the whole 6 days he was there, he never saw one of the friends out there. Never. Never saw one friend out there in the last 6 days searching for her. What does that tell you? I don't know, guys. There's just so many fishy things, but I'm telling you, I know, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's what we all know, that everybody didn't leave at 12:30 and go, hey, I'm all right, guys, let's call it a night. It's 12:30. We're going home and going to bed. No, especially a bunch of drunk teenagers and a bunch of people wanting to party. You're not going to go home and go to bed at 12:30. Like, that's ridiculous. You're not going to be leaving, till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And I guarantee you that with a party that big, that many people, and that much alcohol and drugs, there's going to be people passed out there in the morning. There is going to be people sleeping there for sure. That was not the case. So if this happened like some people say that it happened, and everybody got the hell out of there at 12:30, there was a reason why. If that's what happened, why would everybody get the hell out of there at 12:30 unless something bad had just happened and they all witnessed it? And if that's the case, not one of them has a conscience enough to freaking say anything, to put anything out. It's ridiculous to even think that way. That doesn't even make any sense. You'd think there would be at least one kid, if this party happened like that, like everyone wants to say that it did, you'd think there'd be one kid in there who had parents that raised them right? If you see something like that, you fucking say something. You don't keep it to yourself. You don't stay hush hush. You don't worry about getting yourself in trouble. Damn it. There is a girl that lost her life. That is what this is about. And I'm going to stay on this, and I hope you guys stay on this. I'm going to stay on this until I think justice has been served, and that means everyone responsible is being responsible. Now, my last note. If it is being covered up by LE, if it was trying to be covered up by them, then we also don't know if the results that we're all waiting for will be legit. And that's the part that scares me. Because cops, lawyers, medical examiners, judges, you don't know how deep this goes. And I think that if that's the case, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get the truth. I don't know if we're ever going to get the answers. How do you go? Is that true? A mainstream media reduced the number at party to a little over 100, DB says. Really? How do you go from 300 to 100? That's what I'm saying. Every single thing that has happened in this story has been inconsistent. Every single thing that has happened in this story, we hear one thing and then it comes out it's another. This is such bullshit. And if I'm saying I'm calling cover up all the freaking way. But unfortunately, if that's what this is, how are we ever going to get the truth? Hello, everybody. All right, just give me a second. All right, put this out yesterday. And I think it's because they are, in my opinion, don't take my word for it. Craziness. Okay. Now, the laptop being found last night. So I don't know if you guys were I was in the live when he went on, when Check It TV went on last night. I was in the live. It was crazy. Like, there's so many people in there, but the way that he was very, I don't know. Like, me and Chad were talking about it, and he seemed like he was coached in what he could and could not say. Like, it seemed to me like he was holding a lot back. Chad's like, that's why he's pounding them beers like he is. I feel like he knew more than he could say. Like, somebody told him what he could and could not say on there. So, and I don't know. He said he's got a lot more videos to come out. Chad's like, no, keep pounding them beers and then start talking, right? That's what we need you to do. Start talking. And I'm going to say this, like, I don't know this. This is a second video I've seen from this person, Check It TV. So I don't have I have nothing against this guy, but I just think if you're a new channel and you're coming out and you're there and you get information and you are, wanting to like report on this case, and you're not a cop, you're not an investigator, you're not anything with Zav. And him wanting and like threatening to sue everybody, like, that's kind of crazy. You just come out of the gate swinging, wanting to freaking start suing people and stuff. Like, bad my internet was. But anyway, I went on if you guys didn't see that video, it was real short. It's 4 minutes long. But I went on there and I was like, listen, this guy's there. He is where Kiely's car was. There's all this stuff that they left behind. I said, it's Check It TV. Go check his video out. Like, this is crazy. And I was like, please, everybody, just start calling the police station. And I put the number in the description below. And finally a cop showed up, and I'm not taking credit for that. You guys, like, all the viewers is the people that called. I just was trying to urge people to call because, like, to me, first thing when he was like, listen, I've called all these police departments. Nobody wants to come collect this evidence. I was like, that's just more of the cover up going. I mean, can you even imagine, like, when you have when you have a crime scene, right? Right? When you have a freaking crime scene, you collect every shred of evidence that you can find, and it's taped. That area is taped off until you collect every single thing. Why didn't they collect anything? You're telling me once that car was pulled out of the water, no other divers went in there to collect all the stuff that came out of the car? And AWP said they should have put a net over the car to keep all the stuff from falling out of the car. But you wouldn't do that if you didn't want to contain the evidence. If you didn't want any evidence found, you wouldn't do that, right? That's the only thing that makes any sense, in my opinion. That is the only thing that makes any sense at all. Because why else wouldn't you have made sure that nothing came out of the car? So you'd have to cover the windows or cover it with a net, like they said, or do something to make sure that you didn't lose anything out of the car. And then they didn't do that. So then you take the car out and then you don't go look to see what was left behind. Like, how crazy is that? That is nuts to me. Like, what kind of investigation is happening here? Can somebody please tell me? Because it's just it's ass backwards. I'm sorry, but it is. And it's hard to find anything right with this case. Honestly. If you made a pro con list on how this case was ran, your cons would be full and your pros would be AWP showed up and found her. That's it. That's the only pro I can find. Everything else and everyone else involved, and I mean, it's just craziness, you know? But I mean, so that's what I think about all that. Like, that's just, come out with the information that you have. Listen, I get that you're stressed out, but tell us what you found. Tell us who you talked to. You know, there's no reason for you to be secretive about it. Like, you're not a cop, you're not an investigator. That's all I'm saying. You want to be a fellow YouTuber. I feel like our job is to, when we find something out, tell everybody. Like, that's how I would be. I'd be like, oh my God, you guys will not freaking believe what happened when I was there. You'd know all about it. White purse with snatched chain from Kiely's neck. You love her, but she made you do this. Y'all jumped out the car. Kate's wrist, insensibly drugged. Steven, Kate, Sam, and you. Just know, LOL, someone saw you that's not a part of y'all's secrets. God is stronger than Lucifer. Now, we don't know who sent this. We don't know who this is. But if this is legit, then this is somebody that can put all this to bed, right? Call all these kids out on their bullshit. Make sure they don't skate on a damn thing. Because the privilege that y'all are used to ends right here. Like, that's how I feel. That's how I would be, right? I want to know who this is. If you are out there and if you can see this video and like, if you're this person that wrote this message, get a hold of me, because I will tell it like it is. I will call people out. I will, I'll help get the information out there, because the biggest thing that I want is justice for this girl. And I'm so, it makes me so mad and so angry that I feel like the YouTube community cares more about this girl than anybody in her life. Just because like nobody else seemed to care. Like, people reacted the way they did when she was found. Like, just everything is wrong. I'm going to jump over here. I know. Fairy dust. A lot of people are saying that buckle hanging out the back of the car. I mean, if she was not strapped in the back, right? If she was not strapped in, she would have been floating in the car, not laying on the top of the vehicle when it was upside down. She wouldn't have been laying on it. She would have been floating, right? And not only that, but she didn't put herself there. That's all. In my opinion, that girl did not put herself in that lake. And I am so sick and tired of people acting like, she did. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, it keeps wanting me to pull that up. All right, hold on a minute. So yeah, listen, Tee that tickles. If you're out there, contact me. Get a hold of me. Let's get this done. Let's get this out here. And here's the second one that. All right, from Teehee, that tickles again. Also said to tell you. Black shoe, question mark. No worries, the secrets aren't safe. I mean, spill the freaking beans already, you know? It's like, come on. It's crazy. Okay, so, and this is about, listen to this. So, a while ago, August 22nd, I sent a message to Jagger on Instagram. And I said it's weird that you love Kiely so much and you miss her so effing much, but before she was found, you didn't have, or before she was missing, you did not have one picture of her on your Insta account. Why is that? And this is somebody must have already looked at this because somebody had circled this and had it up, but this is the response that I got from him. At the CNY family, I don't see the point in questioning this. I did have a lot of posts when we were dating, but took them down because we were no longer dating. Okay, so let's go through this, all right, guy. You didn't have any pictures of her on your Instagram account because you were no longer dating. But yet, ever since she's gone missing, you're, oh my God, I miss you so much. I love you so much. You're the love of my life. Da 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 da. So why are you acting like that when he was clearly obsessed with this girl? He clearly had an obsession and a control issue when it came to Kiely. Just like the message he sent her. Don't do anything dumb. That's one of those things that guys do, like, don't do anything dumb, like, don't cheat on me, or don't, like, sleep with anybody, or don't, talk to any guy. Like, it's shit like that. Like, in my opinion, that's what I took from it. Now, you guys take whatever you want from it. But doesn't it seem crazy to you that he's going to say, nope, I don't have any pictures of her on my Instagram account because we're no longer dating. But yet post these things, getting everybody to feel sorry for him, talking about, oh, I miss her so much. She was the love of my life, And you know what else is weird? Is in one of his messages, it was like, I hope you feel the peace now that you wanted. It's like, what is that all about? What is that all about, right? The guy is, man, and he had everybody. Look, people were sending me all kinds of messages like, how dare you talk to him like that? How dare you ask a question like that? That poor guy is in mourning. Really? He didn't look like he was in mourning when he was being interviewed when she was missing. He didn't look like he was in mourning when he was acting all suspicious against AWP for finding her. He didn't act like he was in mourning when he's attacking everybody, going online, being like, okay, can all the bullshit stop now? Because she got drunk, she drove into the lake, end of story. No. Not. And if he truly cared about her, he would be so happy that AWP found her. He would be totally opposite of the way that he has been. I do not trust that kid as far as I could throw him, just like I do not trust any of their little friends. Not Sammy, not Kate, not this Nick character, not this Ross guy. I don't freaking trust none of them. They are all overprivileged kids who think they can just get away with anything, in my opinion. That's my opinion. So nobody needs to attack me for that. If you don't like, what I'm saying, you really don't have to listen. So I just think, can we just stop with all this nonsense already, Jagger, and start being real? It's kind of crazy. Oh, and before I forget, listen to this. So Chad was like, he's like, okay, let me think like Jagger, right? Let me think. Let me put myself in this kid's head. He's like, he's got to be a video game player, right? He's got to be. I bet he goes, Chad's like, I bet he plays Call of Duty. So I'm going to go check it out. So Chad gets on the PlayStation, searches for him, finds his account. It's ITZ_J Scope, right? Finds him. Yep, it says Jagger Westfall. Okay, so we got his account. Now Chad is like, well, let me check out his videos, right? So he clicks on the last video, and Chad also said that he went back to try to look at it again, and he couldn't find it. Maybe it's there and he just missed it. Don't know, but he was playing a Call of Duty match, and it said my best FFA game ever, right? And I don't remember. He had like 26 kills or something crazy, right? So, but anyway, what's disturbing is the music that he was playing when he was playing the game and he had the music on it. You know what I mean? So the song, if you go to the end of that video and you listen to the last song that he played, it was a song about a girl not loving him anymore and her being murdered, having her her throat taken out, having her wrist taken out. And it was kind of, so that he's a nut like that. He's got to be into some sick shit if that's the shit that he's listening to and that's the shit that he's playing. Why would you put that on a video about killing a girl because she was no longer in love with you? Doesn't that seem like he's that kind of person? Like, he must have been so obsessed with this girl, and then they broke up, and then he just couldn't let it go. He just, that's the vibe that I get from him. I don't know how y'all feel. Let me hop over to the chat real quick. I know we were trying to figure out who Jagger's parents were, because I was looking up like West Falls and Napa, and they have like, there's a winery. There's people that have a winery. There's West Falls that own a furniture store. But obviously this kid it comes from a family with money. How else did he get his Nissan 350Z that he's so proud of? Right? Yeah, Tee That Tickles, GG Bells. Listen, that's all they put out. They put out like I think it was only 2 posts. And that's all it was. We have not heard another word from them. Yeah, I need to get a hold of those people. So crazy. So crazy. All right. Oh, sorry. That's the one I just did. I got too many to go through. Oh, okay. Yes. Here's your other one from Tee That Tickles. There was 3. All right. At Jagger Westfall. Hold on. Let me blow this up. Scooch it up. Can y'all see that? Okay. All right. At Jagger Westfall. You're missing a witness, LOL. You don't get away without consequences for what you did. You blank aped, so they didn't put the R in there, and illed, didn't put the K in there, Kiely. Even though people are covering for you, there is one that isn't. Man, a lot of people are going to prison because of you. Ellie is not allowed to protect their kids by covering this shit up. Who did you pay to store Kiely's car before dumping it? I'm really not asking. They already know. Revenge is the act of a weak-ass coward. This person has got to get a hold of me. I mean, let's just blow this whole thing out of the water. If anybody knows who this Tee That Tickles is, contact them. Tell them to contact me. Email me. Like, I mean, holy cow. Shut the door, babe. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? So we've got a witness. that is calling him out, saying this stuff, if this is all legit, which, listen, it sounds like it to me. What do you guys think? I mean, it sounds like it to me. And this is huge. If this is legit, this is huge. Who did you pay to store Kylie's car before dumping it? What? Because we know from the TTD that her car did not go in the lake that night, right? We know that. If that's legit, her car was not in the lake that night. And there have been, remember that, actually, oh man, I need to pull that up. Remember that, make sure that's shut now. Remember that thing I pulled up from Sacramento, said her car was spotted in Sacramento. It was on the neighbors app. That her car was seen in Sacramento chasing a girl who was topless down the street and then pulled her back into the vehicle. And I immediately said, when I saw that, I was like, why in the heck did LE not go after that? Did not follow up on that? And if you watched Sammy's interview with American Dream Chaser, he actually asked her about that. She was like, yep, that is good. That is not been confirmed. We did look into that, and that was not her. Well, of course she's gonna say that was not her. If they wanted this shit covered up from the beginning, you're not gonna say that that's her. But if you go back to if you go, and there's a channel, oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now, but he's a like a word analyzer. Like, he analyzes what people say, and he can tell you like if they're lying, if they're being deceitful or whatever. Well, he went through and typed out word for word what Sammy said during that whole interview. And listen, she is the type that she is obviously smart. These kids are not dumb. We're not dealing with a bunch of dummies. We're not, or this whole thing would have never came to be. But with the way that I think, this is my opinion, with the way I see Sammy, is she is entitled, privileged, smart, and she's so used to getting like away with things and just being able to manipulate everybody, that she felt so much confidence, right, that she actually let a bunch of shit slip in that interview that she didn't even realize. Like, there was a bunch of truth in all her bullshit in those interviews. If you listen to it, really listen to the words, I mean, it's ridiculous how much you learned from that, right? But opposite of what she was saying. But anyway, so yes, this Teehee that tickles. I hope that this is 100% true, and that they are going to make sure that these kids pay for what they did. Isn't that insane? You're missing a witness, LOL. You don't get away without consequences for what you did. You blame, well, it says aped, missed the R, and illed Kiely. Even though people are covering for you, there is one that isn't. Man, a lot of people are going to prison because of you. Ellie isn't allowed to protect their kids by covering this up. So if this is true, we learn a lot from this. Ellie's kids are involved, which we already figured, right? That's why the big rush to cover all this shit up. We know that Ellie's kids are involved. We know that somebody witnessed what happened to Kiely that night. And they have come forward, and a lot of people are going to prison. A lot of people. That tells us there's a lot of freaking people involved in this story, which there would be, right? Because you got the kids that were involved, that were there, that were involved. You've got their parents who I'm sure know and are telling their kids to shut up, and they're trying to sweep it under the rug. You've got local law enforcement who tried to cover it up by doing all this shady shit, by not, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Then yeah, you would have a lot of people going to prison. Who did you pay to store Kylie's car before dumping it? Now, there was a tweet put out again that was never nobody ever paid attention to because it was just dismissed as bullshit, right? That said, Kiely's car was last seen driving into a gated community with Jagger and a blonde driving. That was it. The car went in and never came out. Why was that not a big part of the case? Why were we not looking in this gated community? Who lived in this gated community where the car was stashed? Where the car was stashed for this time until they knew that they had a time to get that shit in there, to get that shit taken care of and taken to the lake to be dumped, right? And if you think about Jagger's tattoo that he had gotten on his arm that said, "Stay alive for me." Now think about that. Stay alive for me. She was still missing. You know, did they have her kept somewhere else? And she was alive and she was fighting to stay alive, right? Why else would you get a tattoo that said, "Stay alive for me"? And another thing, it's like Sammy and her fights, you know, talking about the fights. And when she did that interview and she was like, "Listen, it was just friendly fights. They were people that didn't have any drama. They weren't like enemies or anything." And she goes, "Granted, I'll give you that some people do get into fights about who won, but not this time." And that's exactly how she said it with her smug ass attitude. But not this time. Because she knew. She knew that she was the winner this time, right? She knew because of what happened to Kiely. That's all. Like oh my God, it's crazy. Like, was Kiely alive when in the vehicle and stashed somewhere else? Or was she already gone and stashed in the vehicle somewhere else inside that gated community, right? And if you go back, I don't remember which video it was. I've done like 10 videos on this, but if you go back to previous videos, I talked about this tweet coming out and her car last being seen driving into a gated community. Nobody ever seen the car come out, but they saw the car go in, and there was a blonde-haired girl and Jagger. Jagger was identified by name. So why was that covered up and just said, "Oh, nope, that's all bullshit. We've determined that not to be true." I mean, you can't trust anybody in this freaking case. You just can't. Everybody's covering for everybody. It's like nobody gives a shit, you know, that this girl needs justice. Like, this girl died. Are we forgetting that this girl lost her life? And everybody's worried about protecting themselves. Like Chad said, they probably made a pact, you know, take this to the grave, cradle to grave, grew up together. You know, their parents are all friends. They're all at the same freaking barbecues, and it's just ridiculous. Okay. So I found this. All right. Now, Jagger liked this post on August 11th. Okay. He liked this. It's a girl. You can't tell who. It's somebody. Baby is a bot. Probably is, right? But no. And she's got a mini skirt on, and you can just about see her ass cheeks. And he liked that. This is August 11th. 4 days after Kiely went missing. If you loved her so much, guy, why would you be liking videos like this? Why would you be liking shit like this? Right? That's not how a guy behaves when the love of his life is missing. It just isn't. That's why I say they're all full of shit. All of them. Every single one of them. All right. I don't know what I saved this for. Okay. Now, this was, when was this put out? All right, it says, so this is from Jagger's account. Any info will help at this point. She was last seen at Prosser Lake around 1:30. Now, we've gotten literally three different times here already. That's what I'm saying. We've gotten 3 different times. It was 12:30, then she was seen at 1, and now it's 1:30. Ugh.